Chapter 26:13. FF37, FF18, XFF33. FF23, OMU 85C0F, 8BF4, 66F4, 65B0, 6700, 5 February, 5C0F, 8BF4, 9605, 8BFB, 7F51. Boss Bai's wife hurried to open the door, while Guan Xin served the last dish of the day, sweet and sour mustard fish. Guan Xin watched as master's wife went to open the door, and stood to the side like a virtuous lady. Looking at the delicacies on the table, she chuckled to herself. He, you're finally here, aren't you? I'll let you taste the ups and downs of life tonight. The door opened, and Boss Bai and Lin Yi walked into the villa one after the other. Master's wife had already prepared a pair of slippers for Lin Yi. Lin Yi, this is my wife. And also your master's wife. Boss Bai hesitated for a moment, but still decided to treat Lin Yi as his disciple. After all, Lin Yi had said that he would always be a disciple. X, come over and meet your senior brother. Lin Yi had entered the school later, so he should be the junior brother. However, Boss Bai didn't dare to let Lin Yi be the junior brother because he was the founder of the school. So he arranged for him to be the senior brother. It's you. Guan Xion's eyes widened in disbelief as she looked at Boss Bai's so-called talented disciple. She didn't know what to do, and her mind was in a mess. How did this happen? Oh my God, I don't want to live anymore. How could she make the same mistake twice? Guan Xin, how could you be so stupid? Xin, you're Master Bai's last disciple? Lin Yi was surprised as well. He didn't expect Boss Bai's disciple to be Guan Xian. This surprised Lin Yi quite a bit. You're the talented young man that Master talked about? Guan Xian looked at Lin Yi. She then looked at the dishes on the table, and felt like crying. Another talented young man? Lin Yi couldn't help but find it funny when he thought back to his meeting with Guan Xian at Xuemin's house. Xin, you know Lin Yi? Bai Bo was also surprised. He didn't expect Lin Yi to know Guan Xin. But thinking about it, Lin Yi had some unknown relationship with Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. If that was the case, it wasn't impossible for him to know Guan Xian, but he didn't know the exact relationship between Lin Yi and Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. He didn't know if Lin Yi knew Guan Xuemin personally, so he didn't think too much about it. After all, he was one of the few people who knew the inside story. Guan Xuemin was just a figurehead in Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. The operations, on the other hand, were handled by someone else, and the fact that Lin Yi knew Guan Xian meant that he had a close relationship with Guan Xuemin. It was rather surprising. Guan Xian nodded, blushing. Master, why didn't you say so earlier? Why didn't you say so earlier? Bai Bo narrowed his eyes at Guan Xian's bashful look. There must be something going on between the two of them. It seemed that Lin Yi was indeed a playboy. As long as it was a beauty, it would have something to do with him. I didn't know that you knew Lin Yi. Why didn't you say so earlier? But since you know each other, it saves me the trouble of introducing you. Lin Yi, come and eat. Xion's cooking skills must be familiar to you. She has improved quite a bit recently. Ever since she learned how to condense alchemic fire, she can even cook with alchemic fire. Lin Yi was speechless. Alchemic fire could be used to cook? You've never heard of it, right? This is Xion's original creation. Come, have a taste. Bai Bo said proudly. Okay. Lin Yi nodded. He took the slippers from Master's wife, put them on, thanked her, and entered the mansion. At that moment, Guan Xian. She didn't know what to do. I should have asked Bai Bo for the name of that handsome young man. Then things wouldn't have turned out this way. But Guan Xian didn't like that handsome young man at all. Why would she ask for his name? Looking at the dishes on the table, Guan Xian couldn't help but walk in circles. She saw that Lin Yi, Bai Bo, and Bai Bo were about to sit down. She hurriedly said, "The dishes are cold, right? Should I go heat them up?" Cold. Bai Bo's wife paused. Didn't I just cook them? They're still steaming. Why are they cold? Then, I have a good idea. We've been eating these dishes every day. I'm sick of them. How about we eat instant noodles? What do you think? Guan Xian suddenly had an idea. There's a new kind of braised meat noodles. It's pretty good. I bought a lot of them. Let's throw away the dishes and eat the noodles? Question mark. Bai Bo looked at his proud disciple, confused. What was going on? Throwing away the dishes? Did she get too excited after seeing Lin Yi, and her brain short-circuited? Bai Bo's wife was also confused. What kind of noodles were they eating? Even if the braised meat noodles were good, they couldn't be used to entertain guests, could they? Lin Yi, on the other hand, smiled strangely as he looked at Guan Xian. He remembered the meal he had at Xuemin's house, and Lin Yi knew that tonight's meal would be the same as before. Lin Yi. I'm sorry, I didn't know it was you. Guan Xian saw Lin Yi look her way, and knew that Lin Yi had figured it out. She immediately felt a little embarrassed. Haha, these dishes are really cold. I'm going to cook them. Lin Yi smiled as he picked up the last dish Guan Xian had picked up, the sweet and sour mustard fish, and walked into the kitchen. This time, Bai Bo was even more confused. Why did Lin Yi go crazy with Guan Xian? But Lin Yi and Guan Xian were different. Although Lin Yi was a disciple, he was also the founder. Bai Bo could only listen to him. Forget it. I'm starving. It's not cold. I'll have a bite first. With that, Bai Bo picked up a piece of braised pork with preserved vegetables and put it into his mouth. But after a few refusals, he spat it out. He almost died of disgust. Boss, what's wrong with you? Master Bai frowned when she saw Bai Bo spit out the meat. It's so disgusting. The oil in the meat hasn't been fried out, and it has no taste at all. It smells good, but it's the smell of spring onions and preserved vegetables. The meat itself has no taste at all. Xin, did you forget to add other condiments? Bai Bo asked curiously. I. Guan Xian didn't know how to explain. But then, Lin Yi came out of the kitchen. The sweet and sour mustard fish had been changed by Lin Yi into a cold dish. The sour, sweet, and spicy mustard fish tasted different all of a sudden. And then, Lin Yi brought another celery stir-fried meat into the kitchen. He repeated the process until finally, it was the braised pork with preserved vegetables. At this time, Bai Bo and Master Bai finally realized what was going on. Bai Bo asked, Xin, is there something wrong with these dishes you made? FF37, W03C9, 30FB, off 4D. Chapter 26:14. You're an alchemist too? Guan Xian was embarrassed, but she couldn't say it out loud. She didn't know how to explain it. At this time, Lin Yi had just finished making the last dish of braised pork with preserved vegetables. Hearing Boss Bai's question, Lin Yi smiled and explained, well, it's actually like this. Then, Lin Yi told Boss Bai and Madame Bai about his visit to Guan Xuemin's house. Coming from Lin Yi's mouth, it was naturally quite funny. Boss Bai and Madame Bai were amused and didn't blame Guan Xian anymore. Haha, so that's how it is. Alright, I'll have a taste of Lin Yi's cooking then. Boss Bai picked up another piece of braised pork with preserved vegetables and put it in his mouth carefully. But this time, he wasn't confident enough to swallow it all at once. Instead, he savored it slowly. But this time, as soon as it entered his mouth, the rich aroma made Boss Bai swallow the rest of the meat as well. He praised. Delicious. He's even better than Xian's cooking? Madame Bai had a taste of the sweet and sour mustard fish and nodded to herself. Changing dishes was much more difficult than cooking. Guan Xian's dish was already terrible, but Lin Yi was able to make it even better after putting it back into the pot. Just how skilled did he have to be? This wasn't something that just anyone with high culinary skills could do. Guan Xian's face was also full of admiration. Last time, Lin Yi didn't do anything, so Guan Xian didn't know that Lin Yi was capable of this. Now that she saw Lin Yi, she was even more moved. No wonder her grandpa and master admired him so much. So when Boss Bai said that Lin Yi was better than her, she didn't get angry. Instead, she felt proud. Yes, Lin Yi is actually very good. Hee. I originally thought that Xin would be unhappy if Lin Yi became the eldest senior brother, but now it seems that she won't be, right? Boss Bai asked with a smile. Yeah, of course not, Guan Xian nodded matter-of-factly. Lin Yi, you know alchemy too? I won't. Lin Yi simply shook his head and said, my constitution is very strange. I can condense a pill fire, but I can't control the intensity and temperature of the fire. Is it because your body lacks the wood attribute? Guan Xian paused. That's not it. Maybe there are too many attributes, so it's a mess, Lin Yi said. Yes, in Lin Yi's body, it should be because there are too many attributes, and they can't fuse well with each other. That's why it's like this. These days, I've been reading some ancient books left by my master, hoping to find a reliable solution. Boss Bai nodded and said, but I haven't found anything yet, but I've found some clues. In Lin Yi's case, he lacks an opportunity. If we can fuse several attributes that are mutually restraining in his body and form a small cycle in his body, the problem will be easily solved. Small cycle. Lin Yi didn't expect Boss Bai to find a solution, and he couldn't help but be surprised. That means, it's still possible for me to make alchemy, right? That's right. Boss Bai nodded and said, you can indeed make alchemy, and there have been similar situations in the past generations of my sect. It's just that when I left, I took too little information with me. Most of the information I took was related to alchemy, not the records of those strange things. Now it's impossible to go back and ask about it. Lin Yi nodded, but he wasn't too disappointed. After all, the situation that Boss Bai said now was already a pleasant surprise for Lin Yi. Before, Lin Yi thought that he couldn't make alchemy at all, but now it seemed that he could, but the attributes in his body didn't fuse and form a small cycle, so there was a situation where they mutually restrained each other. It's okay, as long as there's hope. Lin Yi said, as for the specific method, we can slowly study and explore it. Well, come to my study after dinner, I'll show you that book. Boss Bai said. Lin Yi nodded readily. Guan Xian was confused. These attributes mutually restrained each other, a small cycle, she hadn't come into contact with it, so she didn't really understand it, but she did understand one thing, and that was that Lin Yi couldn't make alchemy, but there was hope. Senior brother Lin Yi, then you have to work hard. Xin is already a first-grade alchemist, and she's trying to break through to the second grade. Guan Xian said with some pride. She finally had something better than Lin Yi, and she could finally become his right-hand man. Today, Guan Xian was very happy. Originally, she wasn't interested in learning alchemy. She just wanted to learn pharmacology and go back to help Lin Yi's company. Boss Bai's ardent hope of knowledge forced Guan Xian to learn alchemy, but now it seemed that Lin Yi also came into contact with alchemy, so Guan Xian felt that learning alchemy was a wise choice, and she finally had something to surpass Lin Yi. Okay. Lin Yi smiled. Oh right, Xin, you're already trying to break through to the second grade? Is there any difficulty? Difficult? Not yet. Practice makes perfect. Guan Xian shook her head. I haven't made a second-level pill yet. That's right. Guan Xian shook her head. Actually, that's not the case. Boss Bai suddenly said, the reason why Xin's success rate is too low is because the second-grade medicine cauldron I have here is a bit too broken. There's a crack on it, and it will leak out during the alchemy process, so the success rate is naturally much lower than normal. In this case, it's reasonable that Xin's success rate is low. Crack. Lin Yi was stunned. Master Bai, then wouldn't you use a medicine cauldron without a crack? This medicine cauldron is what I used when I was learning alchemy. I only brought it with me as a souvenir. I can't even make alchemy myself, so what's the point of carrying a good medicine cauldron? Boss Bai smiled bitterly. Who would have thought that after a few decades, I would be able to take in a disciple and teach her alchemy? The reason why Boss Bai was teaching outside was to stay away from the conflicts of that place, and also to find a wood-type inheritor according to the ancestors' teachings. A girl who was born with an extremely keen sense for herbs. But when Boss Bai saw Guan Xian, he realized that she not only had the talent of an inheritor, but also an alchemist, so he taught her alchemy. Chapter 26:15. Inheritors trained all the way and learned the inheritance through the process of coming into contact with the herbs, but it was different after becoming a refiner. Refiners had to constantly use up their qi when they were making pellets, and they always needed time to recover their qi. The chances of learning the inheritance were relatively small, and most of their time was spent on making pellets, so they didn't even have the chance to learn the inheritance from plants. I see. Lin Yi understood, but it's okay, I still have an extra second-level cauldron. I'll give it to Xian next time. That idiot right coiling tiger gave it to me. Right, speaking of right coiling tiger, Xianchen sent someone to ask for information from Jing Jing, so it might be because of House Yu. Above them is the Sky Elixir sect, and behind Sky Elixir sect. It's that place. White Boss suddenly thought of something and said to Lin Yi. Oh, House Yu. Sky Elixir sect? That place? Lin Yi paused, a bitter smile on his face. So this was where the problem was. He was thinking of tempting right Coiling Tiger in exchange for some good stuff, but in the end, he was the one who suffered the loss. It seemed that as he got stronger and stronger, the people he came into contact with also got stronger and stronger. Among the people around him, there would inevitably be people who were connected to higher levels. He really had to be careful in the future. I'm just guessing, I don't know if it's true. White Boss said, but how did Right Coiling Tiger know that you have Zhang Liju's notes? That's hard to say, I've never revealed it to him before, and today is the first time I'm telling you. Lin Yi couldn't think of an answer to this. That's weird. Forget it, let's not think about this for now. White Boss waved his hand. Let's eat. Okay. Lin Yi nodded. Naturally, he didn't think that there was a problem with the auctioneer's market, and that there was a hidden person from House Yu that leaked the information. Master, Brother Lin Yi, what are you talking about? What House Yu? Sky Elixir sect? What's going on? Who's Jing Jing? What's Zhang Liju's notes? Guan Xian was confused, but she was more concerned about who Jing Jing was. It was a girl's name, and Lin Yi seemed to be close to her? Otherwise, Boss Bai wouldn't have said it here, so Guan Xian was a little anxious. The Yu family and the Heavenly Elixir sect are two forces that specialize in alchemy. Lin Yi explained, Jing Jing is my classmate, and also my. Our relationship is similar. She's also an alchemist, but she's already a second-grade alchemist. She's a little tired today, so she didn't come. When she's free, I'll ask her to come as well. You two can get to know each other and discuss alchemy together. Ah, I see. Guan Xian was a little happy, but also a little disappointed. She knew that Lin Yi had a lot of girlfriends, and she didn't ask for anything. As long as she could have a place in Lin Yi's heart, she would be happy. She nodded. All right, I'll be learning from her then. As for Zhang Liju's notes, I'll need Master Bai to explain it to me, Lin Yi said. Haha, Zhang Liju is our ancestor, and Lin Yi is equivalent to Zhang Liju's disciple, so in terms of seniority, he's also our ancestor. Bai Boss said as he explained Zhang Liju's situation to Guan Xian, but Lin Yi insisted that he's my student, so there's nothing I can do about it. I see. Guan Xian breathed out in relief, thinking that it was fortunate that Boss Bai didn't insist. If he did, wouldn't she be Lin Yi's disciple too? She didn't want that. That's right, Lin Yi, since you and Xian know each other, you should come visit us often, Boss Bai said. All right, I'll do as you say then. Lin Yi nodded. Guan Xian kept smiling as she peeked at Lin Yi. She had something she wanted to say to Lin Yi, but Boss Bai was there, so she couldn't say it. She could only hold it in for now. After dinner, Master Bai and Guan Xian went to clean up the dishes, while Lin Yi went to the room with Boss Bai. On the way, Lin Yi was thinking about something very important, and that was the manual he got from the hidden house Shuang. Before, Lin Yi thought that this manual wasn't very practical, but now it seemed to be very useful. If Han Jingjing and Guan Xian were to concoct pills together, then there was a chance that they could concoct a third-level pill. It was just that Lin Yi couldn't practice this manual, so he couldn't put it into practice. It was a headache. He'd been worried about not being able to find a suitable refiner, but now that Guan Xian had joined him, he'd naturally be relieved. Guan Xian and Han Jingjing were both people he trusted, and they wouldn't harm him. The only problem was that he'd have to look into the practitioner's arts a little more. Thinking of the manual, Lin Yi couldn't help but think of the martial art combination. Then his own Raging Fire 8 trigrams palm and Tagan Dragon's 5 elements 8 trigrams palm. That's right. Before, Lin Yi was a little regretful that little E didn't use the 5 elements 8 trigrams palm, so Lin Yi couldn't secretly learn it. But Boss Bai was the leader of the 5 elements gate, where little E was from. Did he have a martial art manual for the 5 elements 8 trigrams palm? After walking into the study with Boss Bai, Lin Yi asked eagerly, Master Bai, do you know Tagan Dragon? Yes. Isn't he the person Xianchen chose to carry out the plan? He was crippled by you. Boss Bai was a little confused as to why Lin Yi would suddenly ask this question. Why are you asking about him? He has a martial art called the 5 Elements 8 Trigrams Palm. Do you know about it, Master Bai? Lin Yi quickly asked. 5 Elements 8 Trigrams Palm? Boss Bai was taken aback, then shook his head. The 5 Elements Gate is a sect of a higher level than the ancient sections. There are a lot of martial arts collected in it. I naturally don't know what Tagan Dragon cultivates, and I'm not even very clear about the martial arts that Little E and the others use. You also know that I've been studying alchemy before, so I don't study anything other than martial arts for my own use. I don't have the time to study anything else. Chapter 26:16. Dinner Talk, Part 2. You are asking Master Zhuang to memorize the combined mental cultivation method and martial skill. Isn't that making things difficult for him? What? Do you want to learn this martial skill? Boss Bai thought for a while and said, it sounds like this martial skill can only be practiced by those who have the constitution of the 5 elements. Ordinary people can't practice it. Even if they do, they can only exert the energy of 1 or 2 elements, so the power will be much smaller. I just want to study it. Lin Yi couldn't tell others about his miraculous all-purpose martial skill, so he could only give a perfunctory answer. Boss Bai didn't take it too seriously. He nodded and came to the bookshelf. He found a handwritten book, took it out, turned to the bookmark page, and gave it to Lin Yi. According to what you said, you have 3 elements in your body: fire, wood, and water. But fire and water are 2 opposite elements, which is why you can't make elixirs. But according to the introduction in the ancient book, this is because the elements in your body can't circulate and combine into a circle, so you can't make elixirs. If you can make the elements in your body circulate, then the 3 elements in your body will no longer be opposite to each other, but will form a circle so that you can link with each other. Lin Yi hurriedly took the book from Boss Bai and read it. The drawbacks of the 5 elements in the body before they circulate and the benefits after they circulate were written on it. But it was using the 5 elements as an example. If the power of the 5 elements could be combined with a corresponding martial skill, the power of the martial skill would be equal to the power of 5 ranks of each element. According to the calculation above, it would be a bit terrifying. 1 element plus 5 elements would be 5 times, which was 25. That was to say, 1 movement was equivalent to 26 movements of others? An Earth rank master could kill a master at the peak of the late stage of Heaven rank? How could it be so ridiculous? People with the constitution of the 5 elements were really abnormal. Tagan Dragon. The first thing that came to Lin Yi's mind was the Tagan Dragon. That's right, he must have circulated the 5 elements in his body. However, the circulation might not have been too successful. Coupled with the problem of his aptitude, the might of the martial skill he released was not so abnormal. It was only slightly more heaven-defying than Lin Yi's. Yes, that should be the case for Tagan Dragons. Boss Bai nodded. First of all, I need to test the attributes in your body, and then find a way to circulate this attribute. If it succeeds, then you should be able to refine pills. Then, Lin Yi was both excited and worried. Although Boss Bai had found some relevant introductions, there was no solution at all. In this way, Lin Yi was full of expectations, but he knew that it was probably impossible to solve the problem. You don't have to worry. I'll check the information again. I have a lot of information here. Although I didn't take away any martial skill manuals back then, I did take a lot of copies of the information on alchemy. I haven't studied many of them yet. I just saw this one. Boss Bai pointed to the bookshelf not far away and said, Then I'll have to trouble you, Teacher Bai. Lin Yi took a deep breath and said excitedly. Boss Bai's bookshelf was indeed filled with books on alchemy. From this, it could be seen how obsessed Boss Bai was with the art of alchemy. If Boss Bai could have the level he had back then there shouldn't be any problem for him to refine a 3rd-grade pill, right? But no matter what, Lin Yi couldn't let Boss Bai recover his strength back then. Healing was not a problem for Lin Yi. He could heal all the damaged meridians of Boss Bai, but he couldn't improve his strength. The situation of the inner sect was different from that of the outer sect. Even if Lin Yi repaired Boss Bai's meridians, the true chi in the meridians couldn't come back. Lin Yi could only improve Boss Bai himself slowly. Just like when he healed Faubert, although Faubert was an Earth-grade master back then, Lin Yi was limited by his own strength and could only improve Faubert's strength to the peak of the late phase of the Golden Class. And now, Lin Yi could heal Boss Bai's injuries, but Boss Bai's strength was at most the early phase of the Earth grade. If he wanted to become a sky-grade master, he still had to train up bit by bit. Of course, if the meridians weren't all broken, or just broken, and the true chi hadn't been lost yet, Lin Yi was confident that he could restore Boss Bai's strength after healing. But since Boss Bai's meridians weren't just broken, and all of them were broken, Lin Yi really couldn't do anything about it. However, even so, Lin Yi still planned to help Boss Bai repair his meridians at a suitable time. As for the subsequent training, it would be Boss Bai's own business. Unless Lin Yi stepped into the sky grade, then he could continue to help Boss Bai level up. As a result, Lin Yi wasn't in a rush to heal Boss Bai's wounds and level up. Even if Boss Bai recovered, he wouldn't be able to make a third-level elixir. At most, he would be able to make a second-level elixir like Han Jingjing. Mr. Bai say, if your meridians are recovered, will Xianchen be suspicious and kill you? Lin Yi hesitated and decided to give Boss Bai a heads up. Oh, my meridians are recovered? How is that possible? Boss Bai was slightly dazed and said, I know my injury. It's not an external injury, but an internal one. Even a third-grade recover pill has no effect on me. How can I recover? I'm just saying what if? Lin Yi asked. If. Speaking of this, Boss Bai couldn't help but be lost in thought. Although he always felt that Xianchen couldn't be so ruthless, what happened today also told Boss Bai that some things were actually so ruthless. Although he didn't want to admit it, he had to admit that if his meridians were recovered, maybe Xianchen would kill him again. He will kill you, right? Seeing Boss Bai's hesitation, Lin Yi suddenly understood something. Maybe. I'm not very sure. Boss Bai smiled bitterly and shook his head. However, even if my meridians are recovered, I have to cultivate again. There's no true chi in my body, so I don't have the strength. Oh, then if it's possible when you recover your strength, you should hide it first and bear it for a while. Lin Yi suggested. Chapter 26:17. Warm Evening Part 1. There will be a chance, I'll think of something for you. Lin Yi said. Haha, alright, I'll be waiting then. Boss Bai didn't take it seriously. After all, although Han Jingjing's injuries were serious today, Boss Bai thought that it was just little 11's torture, and her meridians weren't broken, so Lin Yi healed her. Maybe it was because of the little Huan pellet and some miraculous Jin Chuang. He didn't think too deeply about it. It's getting late, I'll be heading back then. Lin Yi said, Zhang Liju's notes as a refiner, I'll have Jingjing send it to your email. Alright, there's no rush. Boss Bai said, she needs to recover first, it's fine if she doesn't come to school these few days, I'll give her some time off. Lin Yi nodded. He knew Han Jingjing's situation the best, and it could be said that she was fine now. However, he didn't want to brag, so he just nodded and left. He came to the living room downstairs, and Guan Xian and Master's wife were watching TV, waiting for Lin Yi and Boss Bai to come downstairs. Both of them stood up upon seeing them. You're leaving? Master's wife asked with a smile. Yeah, Master's wife, I'll be leaving first. I'll come visit another day. Lin Yi said. Xian, you see Lin Yi off, Boss Bai said to Guan Xian. Okay. Guan Xian was overjoyed and nodded excitedly, quickly running to Lin Yi's side. Ha ha. Boss Bai smiled faintly. He was afraid that Lin Yi and Guan Xian wouldn't get along. After all, the thing he hated the most in his life was disharmony between his disciples. It was like that between him and Xianchen, so he cared even more when it came to his disciple. It seemed like there wouldn't be any problems between Lin Yi and Guan Xian, and this made Boss Bai very happy. After leaving the villa with Lin Yi, Guan Xian let out a sigh of relief. You. Unexpectedly, Lin Yi also spoke in unison. Lin Yi smiled and said, You go first. What did I want to say? Guan Xian was a little nervous. She hadn't seen Lin Yi in a while, so she wasn't as casual as before. Then I'll go first. I really didn't expect that you would become Bai Laosher's disciple and learn alchemy. Lin Yi said, I thought that you were studying medicine. I'm surprised too. I thought I wouldn't be able to help you with alchemy, but it seems like you're studying alchemy as well. Guan Xian suddenly thought of the girl called Jingjing. She was also an alchemist and a second-level one at that. Did that mean that Lin Yi didn't value her that much? Lin Yi paused when he saw the change in Guan Xian's expression. What's wrong? Why aren't you talking? Nope, I think I need to work harder. I'm only a first-level alchemist right now. I probably won't be able to help you. Guan Xian said self-deprecatingly. She felt that she was pretty useless. First-level alchemist and second-level alchemist aren't that important. As long as you're willing, I can make you a second-level alchemist any time. Lin Yi said. A second-level alchemist has to be at least a mystic class cultivator, right? I'm only a golden class. I'm still far from it. That's why I keep failing when I try to make second-level pills. Guan Xian was a little confused by Lin Yi's words. Peak late phase golden class? Lin Yi nodded as he looked at Guan Xian's strength. You're just one step away from mystic class. You'll be able to break through after eating a small qi gathering pill. You can see my strength. Guan Xian was a little surprised, but she didn't think much about it. She thought that Boss Bai had told Lin Yi about it. What she cared about was Lin Yi's following words. I remember now. You have a second-level alchemist with you. Indeed, if he could make some small qi gathering pills for me to eat, it wouldn't be impossible for me to become an Earth-class early-phase cultivator. Then, with a second-level cauldron, I'd be able to make second-level pills. That's true. Lin Yi nodded and smiled. But, there's no need to go through all that trouble. Give me your hand. Guan Xian paused, her face blushing. Did Lin Yi want to hold her hand? Guan Xian's heart sped up at the thought, and her palms started to sweat. But she still reached out her hand in happiness and nervousness, waiting for Lin Yi to hold it. This was a scene she'd been looking forward to for a long time. She didn't think that they'd meet again after such a long time. This heartbeat, this moment of happiness, made Guan Xian feel that all the hardships she'd suffered these past few days were worth it. Her separation from Lin Yi was for a better reunion. Lin Yi was a little surprised to see Guan Xian's expression, but he quickly understood that Guan Xian had misunderstood. Lin Yi had a good impression of Guan Xian, but there was still Wang Xinyan's matter to be settled. Plus, it had been a long time since they last met, and it was too sudden for Lin Yi to think too much about it. But Guan Xian had misunderstood, and Lin Yi didn't have the heart to crush her confidence. He could only hold Guan Xian's hand first. Feeling Guan Xian's nervousness, Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat as well. The feelings he'd been suppressing in his heart surged up in this cold yet warm night. Lin Yi held Guan Xian's hand tightly. Some things had to be faced, and some people couldn't be let go. Lin Yi didn't know what his future would be like, and he didn't know if the road ahead would be dangerous or stable. But, along the way, there were bound to be some unforgettable companions. At this moment, Lin Yi thought through many things. Although there was still a huge gap between him and the Five Elements sect, Lin Yi wouldn't run away anymore. He thought of a girl he couldn't forget. He thought of the past. How was Xiao Ning? Lin Yi was a little emotional. He never would have thought that one day, his strength could make all the hidden houses, including the hidden house Yu, not dare to act rashly. Even 3 hidden houses had become his underlings. The leap in their strength made it so that the gap between them was no longer as insurmountable as he had imagined. But many years later, things remained the same, but people changed. Although Yu Bing had told Lin Yi some information about Yu Ning, he didn't know what the situation would be like when they met again. Would he bring her disappointment when he ran away? How good would it be if life was like the first time they met? But how could the Lin Yi from back then have predicted the height he was at now? The level of the hidden houses couldn't threaten Lin Yi anymore. Chapter 26:18. Feeling the strength in Guan Xian's hand, Lin Yi snapped back to reality and sighed softly. The past was the past. The most important thing was to cherish the present. There was no point in dwelling on some things. Some people would meet again if they were fated to. Try to use your chant. Lin Yi suddenly spoke to Guan Xian. Huh? Guan Xian's eyes widened as she looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. Now? You're telling me to train here? Yeah. Lin Yi nodded. Why? Guan Xian was a little puzzled. Lin Yi's suggestion was too strange. Who trained while taking a stroll? I'll help you increase your strength. You're about to break through. Lin Yi said. Me? About to break through? Guan Xian was even more confused. She didn't even know that she was about to break through. How did Lin Yi know? However, because of her trust in Lin Yi, she still nodded and started to use the alchemist's chant. But in the next moment, Guan Xian's eyes widened even more. She suddenly felt a wave of pure qi flowing into her body from her wrist. It seemed to be from Lin Yi. Lin Yi nodded at Guan Xian with a smile. Guan Xian was even more certain of her guess. It really was Lin Yi. Was he helping her break through? How did Lin Yi do it? Guan Xian didn't think too much about it when she hadn't come into contact with practitioners before, but now that she knew about them, she was different. She knew how hard it was to practice, and all her strength had to be leveled up bit by eating soul-gathering pills. Golden Class Late Phase Peak was the bottleneck of the soul-gathering pills, and she had to rely on herself to level up and break through, but she hadn't been able to break through for a long time. She was very surprised that Lin Yi could help her level up. Boom dash, Guan Xian felt her body shake, and she reached the early phase of Mystic Class. It was a little uncomfortable at the moment, but it was more of the joy and comfort that came with leveling up. She broke through to Mystic Class just like that? Guan Xian felt like she was dreaming. On Lin Yi's side, he didn't continue to help Guan Xian. Some things had to be done step by step. This time, he was giving Boss Bai a heads up so that he would be mentally prepared. When the time came, it wouldn't be so sudden. I'm already a Mystic Class? Guan Xian didn't think that she would break through while she was out for a stroll. And yes. Lin Yi nodded. It's that easy? Guan Xian felt like she said the wrong thing. She thought it was easy, but Lin Yi must have spent a lot of effort to help her break through. It wasn't easy, was it? Haha, yeah, it's that easy. I'll help you when I have time in the future. Lin Yi said. It's late now, so let's stop here. I'll send you back. Send me back? Guan Xian and Lin Yi had already reached the family area. If Lin Yi sent her back, then who would be sending who? But in the next moment, Guan Xian suddenly remembered Lin Yi's words. Can I still break through in the future? Of course. Lin Yi nodded. How else do you think that Jing Jing became a second-level alchemist? She's my classmate, and she started learning alchemy when she was in university, even shorter than you, but she's already in Earth Class early phase now. Guan Xian was shocked and envious of Han Jingjing. So, being with Lin Yi was the fastest way to level up. However, Lin Yi treated her the same way and helped her break through the first time they met. Guan Xian was still happy. She wasn't a girl who liked to fight for things. She liked Lin Yi, and she only wanted to like him silently, without asking for anything in return. Even if Lin Yi didn't want to be with her for the rest of his life, and they couldn't be a couple, she would still stand by Lin Yi's side and look at him. With him there would be happiness. Holding hands with Lin Yi today made Guan Xian feel like she could die from happiness. But Guan Xian wasn't an idiot. Perhaps she'd been overthinking things. Maybe the reason he was holding her hand was to help her level up, and not really for the sake of holding her hand. But no matter what, it meant that Lin Yi still cared about her, and Guan Xian was satisfied. Sometimes, a little bit of happiness was enough to satisfy Guan Xian. She was an easily satisfied person. As the two walked back, they ran into an awkward situation. They saw a couple kissing in the bushes nearby. The guy was groping all over the girl's body, and the girl was gasping for breath. Guan Xian blushed. Lin Yi shook his head. He didn't think that a student would be so bold as to run into a family area to date. Wasn't that just asking for a beating if they ran into his teacher? Ahem. Lin Yi coughed twice, reminding them to be mindful of their image. There were so many places to hide, but why do they have to come to the side of the road? The couple was startled by Lin Yi's coughing and quickly separated. But after they separated, something even more shocking happened. Boss. The guy was Bai Weitua, and the girl was naturally He Meiyue. The two looked up and saw Lin Yi and Guan Xian holding hands. Bai Weitua was even more shocked. Boss, when did you pick up Xian sis? Lin Yi was speechless. How could he meet Bai Weitua here? How miraculous. However, Bai Weitua's question made him even more speechless. Guan Xian and I have known each other for a long time. Why are we dating? Well, I wanted Sister Xian to follow my brother. But, it's not a loss to follow boss, hee. Bai Weitua laughed. Why are you here on a date? Aren't you afraid that your grandfather will see it? Lin Yi asked. It's all because of Mei Yu. She didn't want to be in school and was afraid of being seen by her classmates, so she came here. Bai Weitua shrugged. Lin Yi looked at Mei Yu suspiciously. In school, everyone seemed to know that they were dating, right? Even if she saw them kissing, it wouldn't be a big deal, right? Why did he suddenly come here? However, this was someone else's matter, and Lin Yi had no reason to interfere. He merely nodded at Mei Yu and said, "Then you can continue. We'll be leaving first, but it's best if we go to a more secluded place ahead." Chapter 26:19. A chance to level up. Mei Yu kept her head down and didn't say anything until Lin Yi and Guan Xian left. She glared at Bai Weitua. "Look at you, I told you to go into the forest, but you said it's fine here and no one passed by at night. Now someone saw us, didn't they?" "Huh. Lin Yi is my boss. It's fine if he saw us, right?" Bai Weitua explained with a smile. ////// Mei Yu frowned slightly and didn't say anything, but a hint of regret flashed across her eyes. "Let's go, we'll go into the forest." Bai Weitua pulled Mei Yu into the forest, but Mei Yu shook her head. "Forget it, I'm tired. Let's go back to the dorms and rest early," Mei Yu said tiredly. "All right, let's go back then." Bai Weitua could be said to be obedient to Mei Yu. He followed Mei Yu to the school's dormitory building. After sending Guan Xian back, Lin Yi went home. The Miss and Shu were already asleep, and Xinyan was already asleep. Xinyan's condition made Lin Yi suspicious. Xinyan seemed to like sleeping more and more, as if she didn't get enough sleep every day. Shu and the others usually went to bed around 10, and woke up around 6 the next day. But Xinyan usually went to bed around 7 or 8 after dinner, and even took an afternoon nap at noon. This was the first time Lin Yi had seen such a strange condition, but the results showed that Xinyan's body was too weak. The medicine Lin Yi brewed for her improved, but it didn't seem to have much effect. Shaking his head, Lin Yi took a shower and walked into the room. Xinyan was already fast asleep, so he didn't disturb her. He went to the bed and laid beside her, hugging her from behind. Xinyan seemed to feel Lin Yi's presence in her dream. She moved slightly, squeezing into Lin Yi's embrace. It was fine if she didn't move, but as she moved, Lin Yi's hand couldn't help but touch the softness of her breasts. He wanted to go with the flow, but Lin Yi wasn't that kind of person. He moved his hand into the jade space reluctantly. Phew! Lin Yi let out a breath of relief and continued his training. Today's battle with Xiao Yi, between life and death, had given him an opportunity to break through. He hadn't been at Earth Class mid-phase peak for long, but this time, he felt the prelude to a breakthrough. But it was still too short, and Lin Yi didn't break through in the middle of the battle. Fortunately, he didn't break through in the middle of the battle, or else it'd be too late to save Han Jingjing. Even if Lin Yi broke through to Sky Class, it'd be too late for regrets. As a result, Lin Yi didn't feel regretful that he didn't break through during the battle. He had already grasped the opportunity to break through, and it was only a matter of time. He just needed one more opportunity, and he'd be able to break through to Earth Class late phase. Earth Class mid-phase peak or late phase, Lin Yi didn't really care. To Lin Yi, a normal Sky Class early phase could be easily killed by Lin Yi's current techniques. Even if Lin Yi was an Earth Class late phase, he'd only be able to kill a Sky Class mid-phase. This didn't mean much. What Lin Yi was looking forward to now was when his Art of Dragon Mastery would be able to complete the second stage. That way, not only would he be able to condense the space in the Jade Pendant, but he'd also be able to open the stone door of the cave. Lin Yi was now looking forward to the third stage of the Art of Dragon Mastery. It was just that the second stage of the Art of Dragon Mastery seemed to be only one step away from completion, but Lin Yi had been working hard for a period of time and still hadn't been able to reach that peak. This made Lin Yi understand that although the distance seemed small, it wasn't. Just like how Lin Yi had already felt the opportunity to break through to Earth Class late phase, but he hadn't felt it with the Art of Dragon Mastery. This made Lin Yi feel helpless, but he also knew that he couldn't rush it. "Jiao Lao, how's that damn thing?" Lin Yi turned to ask Jiao Yazi. During the day, Lin Yi wouldn't pay attention to the situation in the Jade Pendant space at all times, but Jiao Yazi was always paying attention to the situation in the space. "That's not it, it's still there. It hasn't moved since it came in," Jiao Yazi said. "Oh." Lin Yi nodded. After this damn thing came in, it went into a state of hibernation. Lin Yi couldn't wake it up, and it didn't disturb Lin Yi's practice either. If he didn't think of it, he could just ignore it. Since it didn't move, Lin Yi didn't bother with it. The thing was, there was no point in talking to it. He couldn't ask it to leave, and he couldn't communicate with it either. All he could do was let it be and let it stay here for now. Guan Xin, on the other hand, returned to Boss Bai's villa. As soon as she entered the door, she saw Boss Bai and Mistress Bai's smiling eyes. Guan Xin blushed. We bumped into Bai Wei Tua, so we wasted some time. Haha, we didn't ask. Why are you saying this? Boss Bai smiled. I'm happy that you can stay with Lin Yi for a while longer. You don't need to use that Bai Wei Tua kid as an excuse. What's he doing here instead of staying in the dorm this late at night? I really did see Bai Wei Tua. Guan Xin said helplessly. All right, let's not talk about this anymore. Boss Bai waved his hand. Evidently, he didn't care much about these things. Han Jingjing already sent Master Zhang Liju's notes. You can take a look later. Okay. Guan Xin nodded. She didn't know if she should tell Boss Bai that she had broken through to Mystic Early Phase. She didn't want to hide it, but did this count as Lin Yi's secret? Lin Yi didn't say whether or not she could tell Boss Bai, so Guan Xin could only hold it in for now. She'd find an excuse to say that she broke through on her own. She'd ask Lin Yi and make sure that she could tell him. With that thought, Guan Xin quickly went back to her room to read Zhang Liju's notes. Boss Bai and Mistress Bai, on the other hand, went upstairs to rest with a smile on their faces. It was a quiet night. The next morning, Lin Yi woke up early and went to Han Jingjing's villa after making breakfast. Chapter 26:20. Morning. Jingjing. How did you sleep last night? Did you have any nightmares? Lin Yi asked. No, I dreamt that I went to fight monsters with Lin Yi, Gidge. I slept really well. Han Jingjing didn't seem to be affected by yesterday's events at all. Jingjing. Send all the information to the cloud and set a password. Even if the tablet is stolen, it'll be fine. I won't have to worry about them cracking the password. Jingjing can delete it from other apps at any time. Oh. Lin Yi didn't really understand. He only nodded and let out a sigh of relief. He was worried about Han Jingjing's emotions, but it seemed like she wasn't affected at all. Breakfast is ready. Let's go eat together. Okay. Han Jingjing nodded and went to wake up her brother, Han Xiaoqiao, and went to eat with Lin Yi. Today, 3 things happened in the school. The first was that the school was going to host a charity gala. This was an event that was held every year. The school consciously cultivated the love of the students. During the gala, some items would be auctioned. Some of these items were donated by students, and some were donated by celebrities. However, the money from the auction would be donated according to the situation. For example, remote areas, welfare homes, orphanages, and so on. The donation targets were randomly decided by the school, but when Lin Yi heard the news, the first place that came to his mind was Yu Xiaoka's orphanage. At the school's auction, although students were the main group, there was no lack of successful graduates and socialites participating. Although the number of these people was not large, it was not a small number. There weren't many of them, but the amount of money they donated was much more than the students. Especially in a provincial city like Donghai, these celebrities' donations were usually in the millions. So, the total amount of money raised by the charity gala was quite sizable. So, Lin Yi had an idea. For this kind of thing, Lin Yi could only ask Boss Bai. Considering his special position in the school, Lin Yi thought that he should be able to put in a good word for him, right? As expected, after Boss Bai received Lin Yi's call, he agreed readily. Okay, I understand. I'll suggest it to the school. It wasn't a big problem. I can't give you the money for your own use, but I can donate it to the orphanage. After all, I was planning to donate the money to someone in need. Thank you, Teacher Bai. After what happened yesterday, the relationship between Lin Yi and Boss Bai had gotten a lot closer. Now that Boss Bai had agreed to help, in that case, there shouldn't be much of a problem. It's nothing. It's not a big deal. Boss Bai smiled and said indifferently. The second thing was that Zhao Qibing's floating cloud bar had opened near the school. Su Jiaonong found some students and started distributing flyers in the school. Lin Yi received one as well. Qibing's action surprised Lin Yi. This guy was actually trying to get close to him? Aren't you afraid of getting beaten up? The third thing was that Pin Liang was back. But this time, he kept a low profile as he went back to school. He didn't challenge Lin Yi, nor did he challenge Lin Yi directly. Instead, he went to register with Xiaofu as usual and went to class as usual. Although Lin Yi heard the news, the two didn't do anything. Lin Yi naturally wouldn't cause trouble for them. He was happy with the peace. After the first class, Lin Yi called Yu Xiaoka, planning to ask her about the orphanage. Yu Xiaoka had quite a headache recently. There was a saying that went like this. The orphanage was now famous, and the new building was very beautiful and practical. As a result, the number of orphans had increased a lot. Especially the sick orphans. They were sent to Yu Xiaoka's orphanage from hospitals all over the country. It couldn't be helped. Some poor people had children, and the children were sick. They didn't have money to treat them, so they could only leave them in the hospital. The parents couldn't be blamed for this. They had no choice. As far as they were concerned, if there was a kind-hearted person or the orphanage, the child might be able to live. But if they couldn't be treated and brought home, they would die. However, this kind of sick orphan was rarely adopted. Even if those infertile couples adopted children, they would adopt healthy ones. Who would adopt a sick baby? And so, the monthly medical expenses became the second biggest expense after the orphanage's construction and food. And it was increasing every day. Yu Xiaoka couldn't just ignore the sick abandoned babies. Could she? She wouldn't be Yu Xiaoka if she was that cruel. And so, Xiaoka was willing to lower the standard of food for the children in the orphanage just to save up the medical fees for these children. At this moment, Yu Xiaoka was thinking about accepting missions from the thief's door. She couldn't find one that was suitable. The ones with too much money were too dangerous, or they were unrealistic. The simple ones were too little money, and they wasted a lot of time. Yu Xiaoka really didn't know what to choose. Lin Yi's call came in, and Xiaoka was already a little annoyed. She didn't want to pick up the phone when she saw her admirer's call, but Lin Yi was her savior, and it wouldn't be right if she didn't pick it up. She had no choice but to pick it up. Hello? Lin Yi, you're looking for me? Oh, I'm just asking. How's the orphanage? Do we have enough money? Lin Yi frowned when he heard the bad tone in Yu Xiaoka's voice. What was wrong with Yu Xiaoka? Did she eat gunpowder? Did she have this attitude every time he saw her? It's fine. You don't have to worry about the money. I'll take care of it myself. Yu Xiaoka said coldly. I'm ready to accept a mission from the thief's door. It's hard, but if I do it well, I'll get 10 million. You're going to accept a mission from the thief's door again. Lin Yi paused. He was about to say that he hadn't learned his lesson from last time. But then, he realized that his identity was Lin Yi, not the male thief. How would he know about the tomb robbery? Yu Xiaoka only mentioned the mission to him, but she didn't tell him the details. Lin Yi quickly changed his words. The missions there are very hard, right? It's hard even for me. If you go, you'll be at a disadvantage. I don't need your concern. Yu Xiaoka didn't know why, but she was unhappy whenever Lin Yi cared about her. Chapter 2631. Charity dinner. She felt that Lin Yi had ulterior motives towards her. She tried her best to distance herself from Lin Yi. What should I do if I don't accept the mission? You really don't know the cost of daily necessities unless you're in charge. Every day, the orphanage receives many sick abandoned babies from all over the country. Just the medical fees for these abandoned babies is a huge expense. What should I do if I don't take on missions? I see. Lin Yi didn't expect the orphanage to be so big. He didn't want Yu Xiaoka to be too tired. Don't make it hard for yourself. I'll help you think of a solution. Other than Fatty Lie's investment, I'll help you think of solutions. In a few days, our school will have a charity dinner. There'll be an auction to raise money. I've already told my teacher that all the money will be donated to your orphanage. Ha! Donated to me? Yu Xiaoka paused. Then she was happy. But after the happiness, her eyes flashed with deep worry. Lin Yi was too generous with his help. She couldn't believe that Lin Yi was helping the orphanage just for the sake of it. Even if he was a philanthropist, there was no need for him to do this, right? Unless she was a staff member of the orphanage like Yu Xiaoke, wouldn't she? In fact, Lin Yi wasn't so naive. Lin Yi did this because of the other male thief's identity. However, Yu Xiaoke didn't know about these things. The money this time should be quite a lot. According to my teacher, the charity dinner every year can raise at least 10 million, up to 100 million. So, forget about that thief's door mission. Lin Yi said. How old are you? You should enjoy life and do things that are appropriate for a girl your age. What should a girl my age do? Yu Xiaoke didn't understand. She really didn't know what she should do at her age. Ever since she grew up, she had been running around for the orphanage. She didn't know what she should do. For example, go shopping, do beauty treatments, buy some pretty clothes. Lin Yi thought about it and told Yu Xiaoke what the Miss and Shu often did. Yu Xiaoke was speechless. Do you think I'm a Ms. Perfect? Where would I get the money? I'll give it to you, Lin Yi said. Goodbye. Yu Xiaoke was so angry that she almost threw the phone. If it weren't for the fact that she had to buy a new phone, she would have thrown it out already. But she still hung up on Lin Yi angrily. Humph 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 humph. You're finally showing your true colors? You're giving me money? You want me to go shopping and buy clothes? Isn't that the same as protecting me? I finally know what you're thinking. You really are interested in me. But, what should I do? What should I do? If Lin Yi really was interested in her, could she reject him? If she rejected him, what if he stopped collecting money for the orphanage? But, she couldn't betray the male thief. If she hadn't met the male thief, Xiaoke wouldn't have been so against him. It wasn't easy to find someone with the ability to pay for the orphanage's expenses, and it wasn't a bad idea to be taken care of by him. For the sake of the orphanage's children, she could accept it. But now, Yu Xiaoke had someone else in her heart, and her thoughts had changed. She was very against the meaning that Lin Yi revealed. This is so annoying. What should I do? Yu Xiaoke was troubled. She couldn't reject the temptation of Lin Yi's money, but she didn't want anything to happen between her and Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't look like an idiot who didn't want anything in return. So, Yu Xiaoke knew that if she kept owing him more and more, she would be in big trouble. She'd be in big trouble. Forget it, he'd just muddle through and deal with what was in front of him first. He hadn't responded to Lin Yi directly, and it was his business if he was willing to give the money. He'd just have to reject the offer if it came out in the open. It wasn't like he'd ask for the money back. Could he? The male thief was the best. He gave her so much money and good stuff without asking for anything in return. He was so much better than Lin Yi. If Lin Yi knew what Yu Xiaoke was thinking, he'd probably be depressed. How much did the male thief give her? His identity as Lin Yi gave her more than 10 times what the male thief gave her. But at this moment, Lin Yi looked at the phone in his hand curiously. What was wrong with Yu Xiaoke? Did she just hang up and say goodbye? And she seemed to be going berserk? He just asked her to go shopping. Did she have to do this? Could it be that she hated shopping? Lin Yi shook his head, but he didn't call Yu Xiaoke again. He'd told her everything he needed to, and when the money from the auction came out, he'd just donate it to the orphanage. After class at noon, Boss Bai took care of this matter. He directed the donation to the Songshan orphanage and announced the details of the charity party in front of the whole class. This Friday night, our school will be hosting an annual charity party. Boss Bai said. I think a lot of students have already seen the news on the school's forum. As for the details, I still need to go into it. The charity party is divided into 2 parts. The first part is the auction. The so-called auction is for everyone to donate some auction items and put them up for auction. There is no specific type of auction item, anything is fine, but it has to be something worthy, otherwise it might not pass the audit. This is a voluntary donation. There are no special requirements. The people who will be participating in the auction are students like us, along with some alumni from previous years, teachers, and celebrities from the society. Everyone is willing to bid, and all the money from the auction will be donated to the orphanage. The second part is a voluntary donation. There are no restrictions on the amount of money you can donate. As for the third segment, it's a masquerade ball. However, there's a limit to the conditions for participation. Only those who have donated and successfully traded items in the previous auctions, or those who have successfully bid for the items, can participate. Chapter 26-21. FF37, FF18, XFF33. FF23, OMU 85C0F, 8BF4, 66F4, 65B0, 6700, 5 February, 5C0F, 8BF4, 9605, 8BFB, 7F51. But it must be within the other party's ability, and it doesn't violate moral laws. If it's ambiguous, and the recognized party is unwilling to execute it, they can appeal to the school or me. The school or me will decide whether this matter can be done or not. However, if the guess is wrong, it's the opposite. The party who guessed wrong must agree to a condition of the guest party. The condition is the same as before, within the scope of the guest party's ability. So, those who want to guess randomly won't have a chance. After the students sitting in the classroom heard about the masquerade party, they were very excited. This was the first time they participated in this kind of activity. They had seen this activity on the school's BBS forum before. It was very interesting, and the things they were asked to do were also very strange. For example, dancing in the cafeteria, eating instant noodles in the toilet, and so on. Of course, there were some people who had wishful thinking and made a request to push down the goddess they admired, but they were rejected decisively. Even if they appealed to the school, it wouldn't be supported. However, the conditions to participate were a bit of a headache. They must have donated something, successfully traded, or bought an auction item. Fortunately, Boss Bai, a student majoring in medicine, wasn't poor. It wasn't difficult for him to take out some auction items or bid for an auction item. On the other hand, they couldn't participate even if they donated directly. Otherwise, they could participate in the masquerade party by simply donating 100 or 200 yuan. In fact, this direct donation session was prepared for some students who wanted to show their love but didn't have enough money. 1 or 2 yuan wasn't a problem. Although they couldn't participate in the masquerade party, it was still a kind gesture. Or those entrepreneurs who didn't want to be troubled, they wouldn't participate in the auction. Instead, they would donate hundreds of thousands or even millions just to save trouble. After all, their time was precious, and they didn't have the time to participate in a masquerade party. At noon, after school, everyone began to get busy with the charity party. However, Yu Coiling Tiger was very depressed. He had already received the news from old Yu about the heavenly elixir sect. He didn't get the alchemy information from Han Jingjing, and with Boss Bai's protection, outsiders couldn't intervene. Therefore, the heavy burden of exchanging information with Han Jingjing fell on Yu Coiling Tiger again. How were they supposed to change it? You can't snatch it here, so you want me to go exchange for it? What if Han Jingjing and Lin Yi suspect me and kill me? However, since it was a mission from Grandpa, Right Coiling Tiger couldn't refuse, so he pretended not to know that Han Jingjing had been robbed before. That place, the Five Elements sect. Patriarch Black Earth frowned as he looked at Little One and Little 11. Little 11, are you sure that Han Jingjing is dead? Yes, Master. In front of outsiders, Little 11 called Xian Chen Master. Only a few people knew that she was Xian Chen's daughter. I broke all the meridians in Han Jingjing's body. Her breasts and uterus exploded. If it weren't for the small reversion pill, she would have died. If he still had a breath left, he would have died long ago. Then why did they say that Han Jingjing is fine? He can still go to school today? Patriarch Xianchen asked curiously, is that possible? Han Jingjing is fine? She can still go to school? Little 11 was stunned after hearing this. How is that possible? At that time, her injuries were comparable to Taganlong's. If Boss Bai went and had a way to save her life, I would believe it. But if he said that she was saved, I don't believe it. Could it be that Boss Bai has a top-grade 4th-grade Great Huan pill in his hands? Oh! Patriarch Xianchen frowned. A top-grade 4th-grade Great Huan pill. In that case, it's really possible. Boss Bai can indeed refine 4th-grade pills at his peak, although he's crippled now. But it's hard to say that he doesn't have any stock. But, why doesn't he eat it himself? His injuries were caused by qi deviation and the flow of true qi in reverse. It may be different from normal injuries caused by external forces, right? Little One thought for a moment and said, or, his meridians have already recovered, but his level of alchemy hasn't recovered. Otherwise, after so many years, according to common sense, his meridians are all broken, and he hasn't practiced external body refining. Even if he's not dead, he should be half paralyzed. How could he be fine? Little one, you're right. Maybe Boss Bai has already recovered, but his strength can't recover. Patriarch Xianchen nodded in realization and said, "This old thing has hidden quite well. If the two of you hadn't guessed it, I would still be in the dark." Yes, but in order to save Taganlong, he should agree to donate a top-grade 4th-grade Great Huan pill, right? Little one asked. Let me ask. Who knows what this old thing is thinking? Patriarch Xianchen shook his head and dialed Boss Bai's number. Boss Bai didn't expect Patriarch Xianchen to call him again. He didn't know what it was, but he still picked it up. But this time, he was already on guard against Patriarch Xianchen. He knew that Patriarch Xianchen had the ambition of a wolf after all, and he would only suffer losses if he was too kind. "Xianchen, what's the matter?" Boss Bai's voice was very indifferent, as if yesterday's events had never happened. "Eldest senior brother. Is Han Jingjing okay? I'm really sorry about what happened yesterday. I was worried all night. If anything happens to Han Jingjing, I will definitely not let little 1 and little 11 off easily," Patriarch Xianchen said hypocritically. "You should already know that Han Jingjing is fine by asking this, right?" Boss Bai's heart shuddered, but his tone was still so calm. "Your news is quite fast. It seems that you have been paying attention to me." "Haha, I'm just worried about you, eldest senior brother," Patriarch Xianchen said with a smile. "Senior brother, congratulations on your meridians." "What do you mean?" Boss Bai's heart shuddered again, but he still asked calmly. "Hee, Han Jingjing's injuries are so serious, but she's as good as before. If it's not the effect of the top-grade 4th-grade Great Huan pill, what is it?" Patriarch Xianchen smiled slightly and said, "I didn't expect eldest senior brother to still have some in stock. Even Han Jingjing can take the top-grade 4th-grade Great Huan pill. Of course, you have taken it yourself." "Oh," Boss Bai thought to himself. It turned out that Patriarch Xianchen had misunderstood. However, were Han Jingjing's injuries really that serious? But since it was so serious, how did Lin Yi heal her? Yesterday, Boss Bai didn't carefully examine Han Jingjing's injuries. He just looked at her appearance and felt that Han Jingjing's injuries were not light, but they were all superficial injuries. FF37, W03C9, 30FB. Off 4D. Chapter 26-22. Boss Bai's goal. He did not expect that Han Jingjing's meridians were also seriously damaged. At this time, after listening to Patriarch Xianchen's words, he realized that even a great recovery pill would not work on Han Jingjing's injuries. Only a top-grade 4th-grade great recovery pill would work. However, Boss Bai did not refute Patriarch Xianchen's words. If he did, it would be equivalent to exposing Lin Yi. By then, with Patriarch Xianchen's character, he would definitely capture Lin Yi as a guinea pig for research, so Boss Bai gave an ambiguous "Oh." "Eldest senior brother. You also know about Taganlong's injuries. A 3rd-grade great recovery pill can only save his life, but it can't heal his injuries. Since you have a stock of top-grade 4th-grade great recovery pill, can you contribute one to the sect?" Patriarch Xianchen asked carefully. "After all, you also know the usefulness of Taganlong, so if he can recover, it will be quite important." "Oh, but unfortunately, there's no more," Boss Bai said lightly. "There was originally one last pill. If you had said it earlier, I would have given it to Taganlong, but my disciple is injured, so I will definitely give it to my disciple first. So, sorry, there's no other way. If you want to blame someone, you can only blame little 11 for being too vicious. Without a top-grade 4th-grade great recovery pill, he can't be saved." This. Patriarch Xianchen did not expect Boss Bai to say this, and he did not know what to say. However, he still did not believe it and did not give up, so he continued to persuade. "Eldest senior brother, this is a major event of our sect in the past 1,000 years. Let our sect return to the level of the primordial times and stand shoulder to shoulder with those primordial sections. This is the ultimate goal of our ancestors. As the leader of this generation, you must support this plan, right? Compared to our personal grievances and the sect's major events, you should be able to make the right choice as the leader, right?" If I have more, I will definitely take it out. Don't worry, I will do it even if you don't say it. Boss Bai still said lightly, I know my identity better than you. I am the leader of the 5 Elements sect. I want the 5 Elements sect to return to the level of the primordial sects and return to the Heaven Stage Island, even if it means death. Because this is also my lifelong goal. Unfortunately, I really don't have it anymore. I'll refine it after I recover my strength. This. Patriarch Xianchen frowned. Although he didn't really believe it, he knew Boss Bai's character. Since Boss Bai said so, it was probably true. So he could only say, all right then, let's do that for now. If I successfully refine a 4th grade top grade great recover pill, I will contact you. Boss Bai said calmly. After hanging up the phone, Patriarch Xianchen frowned and felt a little regretful. It seems that finding trouble with Han Jingjing and Lin Yi this time was a bad move. If I could contact Boss Bai first, maybe he would give Tag Unlong the top grade 4th grade great recover pill. With his feelings for the sect, he would definitely agree. Sigh, I took the wrong step. Master, don't be too sad. Since Boss Bai's injuries have healed, maybe he can refine a 4th grade elixir. Besides, isn't second Uncle Master Xuanzhen also trying to break through to the 4th grade alchemist? Little one comforted. And that's true. Patriarch Xianchen nodded. After Boss Bai hung up the phone, he fell into contemplation and shock. Lin Yi actually cured Han Jingjing's serious injuries. How did he do it? Boss Bai suddenly remembered what Lin Yi said and asked him in his study last night. Lin Yi said at that time that if Boss Bai's injuries recovered and Patriarch Xianchen knew what would happen, Boss Bai thought that Lin Yi was just joking, but now it seemed that it was not the case. Lin Yi should really have the ability to recover his injuries. A glimmer of hope and excitement flashed in Boss Bai's eyes. Is my guess true? Can Lin Yi really do it? Boss Bai faintly looked forward to it. However, Boss Bai did not immediately call Lin Yi to ask about this. Instead, he fell into contemplation about the future. Now, unavoidably, Lin Yi had already been involved in this future dispute of the sect. Whether Boss Bai was willing or not, the mark of Lin Yi's disciple had already been imprinted on Xianchen. If he recovered his strength, then naturally he could intimidate Xianchen. But what if he couldn't? Once the Heavenly Island plan was launched, the 5 Element sect would return to the level of the ancient sects and regain the glory of the past. At that time, would the arrogant Xianchen make a move on him, or even Lin Yi and Han Jingjing again? But how could he solve this situation? Boss Bai thought for a long time and couldn't come up with a good solution. In the end, everything was because Boss Bai's current strength was not enough, but this was a weakness that couldn't be changed. Right Coiling Tiger decided to talk to Lin Yi and Han Jingjing again, and see if he could get the special notes from Han Jingjing. But he definitely couldn't bring up Zhang Liju's refiner's notes. Right Coiling Tiger was often tricked by Lin Yi, but that didn't mean he was an idiot. On the contrary, he was just a little stupid in front of Lin Yi, but he was still a little smart in normal times. On one hand, he really was in a hurry to get the things in Lin Yi's hands. Sometimes, there was nothing he could do about being tricked. On the other hand, Lin Yi was famous for being able to kill Sky-class masters in one hit. Right Coiling Tiger was a little scared when he faced him, and naturally, his brain short-circuited. Especially when he heard that this time, a Sky-class late-phase peak master couldn't even kill Lin Yi. Right Coiling Tiger was even more shocked. Although Boss Bai had intervened, that was also because of Lin Yi's own strength. Otherwise, before Boss Bai could intervene, Lin Yi would already be dead. Who would have thought that an Earth-class mid-phase peak would be able to last so long against a Sky-class late-phase peak master? In fact, even Lin Yi himself didn't expect it, but sometimes, things were just that coincidental. A chi bomb saved Lin Yi, and this was something that even little Yi himself didn't understand. So if Right Coiling Tiger mentioned Zhang Liju's notes, then Lin Yi would definitely ask him how he knew about this. If he connected it with Little E and Little 11, then Right Coiling Tiger would be screwed. He might even be beaten to death. Chapter 26-23. Chapter 26-34. Searching for an opportunity. Most refiners had this habit, including Right Coiling Tiger himself. These notes were the refiner's own understanding towards elixir making. Han Jingjing looked at Zhang Liju's notes and combined it with her own experience. The notes were pretty much the same as Zhang Liju's notes. At the very least, it could increase the success rate of second-level elixir making. To the hidden house you, this was very valuable information. With that thought, Right Coiling Tiger made up his mind to exchange Han Jingjing's notes. At that moment, Right Coiling Tiger's phone rang. He picked it up and saw that it was Zhao Qibing. He didn't think much and picked up. Hello? Master Bing, what's up? Second young Master Yu, are you forgetful? Did you forget what you promised me? It's been a few days, and there's still no news? Zhao Qibing asked anxiously. What's been a few days? What did I promise? Right Coiling Tiger was thinking about how to get Han Jingjing's notes in the afternoon and was stunned by Zhao Qibing's question. Fuck, you didn't really forget, did you? Zhao Qibing quickly said, about the broken leg, when are you going to create an opportunity for me to break my leg? Broken leg. Right Coiling Tiger suddenly remembered that he still owed Zhao Qibing such a thing. Originally, he thought that it was a simple matter. Asking Lin Yi to break Zhao Qibing's leg was as easy as lifting a finger, but Lin Yi refused. However, Right Coiling Tiger forgot about it after that and only remembered it when Zhao Qibing asked him. In fact, if he wanted to deny it, Zhao Qibing couldn't do anything. After all, there was no signature and no evidence. But this wasn't good for his reputation, and even the hidden house Yu's reputation. If Zhao Qibing was a normal person, then so be it, but he was the heir of the hidden house Yu. Right Coiling Tiger couldn't just ignore what he said. Yeah, second Master Yu, I'm begging you, can you do this? Qibing panicked when he heard Tiger Yu's tone. I said, I searched the entire city when you lost your phone, and now I found it for you. You can't just do something for me right now. Of course I'll do it. Right Coiling Tiger frowned. But do you really have to ask Lin Yi for this? Why don't you just find someone to break your legs? Can't you break anyone's leg? The others aren't as good as Lin Yi. What if I break it? My life would be over. Qibing denied it right away. Plus, it has to be a master stronger than me, or else I'll subconsciously use my qi to protect myself, and I can't control my qi as I please. Unless you can catch me off guard and break my leg, you can only do it if you're stronger than me. Why is it so complicated? Right Coiling Tiger felt that it was very troublesome, but what Zhao Qibing said made sense. Practitioners would subconsciously use their qi to protect themselves when they were in danger. It was like a sandstorm. Normal people would subconsciously close their eyes. It was an instinct, unless it was a sneak attack. But for a sneak attack, one had to be very agile. At the very least, it had to be someone with qigong. Normal practitioners didn't even have the movement skills of a professional assassin. Practitioners usually fought head-on and rarely used sneak attacks. Of course, people like Lin Yi were different in the world of practitioners. He was fast, an assassin, and an expert in sneak attacks. Most importantly, he was a wolf in sheep's clothing, using a sneak attack against a stronger practitioner. This was the reason why he was successful. After all, which high-level practitioner would let a low-level practitioner go? Logically speaking, even if a sky class were to stand still and let an earth class attack them, they wouldn't be able to kill them. Hence, there was no need for a sneak attack at all. This was also the reason why Lin Yi's opponents were all dead. It's not complicated. Can you help me think of a way? Zhao Qibing heard Right Coiling Tiger's tone and knew that the kid was trying to escape. He quickly said, I say, second Master Yu, we're both people with statuses. You can't go back on your words. Of course not. Right Coiling Tiger said, I've been looking for a chance for you, haven't I? You know how troublesome Lin Yi is. Normal people wouldn't be able to handle him. I'm helping you take a roundabout route. Have you thought of a good idea? Zhao Qibing thought that Right Coiling Tiger was being perfunctory. Naturally, he didn't believe him. It's like this. Our school will be hosting a charity gala in a few days. It's like this. Right Coiling Tiger explained the details of the charity gala to Zhao Qibing. You're saying that you want me to participate in this charity gala, right? Then, I'll go to that masquerade ball and recognize Lin Yi. Make him promise me one thing, and that is to break my legs? Zhao Qibing understood what Right Coiling Tiger was trying to say. Yes, that's it. Lin Yi will definitely be there. This is a good chance. Right Coiling Tiger was interrupted by Zhao Qibing. Wait, as far as I know, Lin Yi doesn't want to participate in this kind of event, right? Even if he does participate in the auction, it's a masquerade ball. I don't think he'll join in the fun, right? With Zhao Qibing's understanding of Lin Yi wasn't someone who liked to join in the fun. It was normal for him not to participate in the masquerade ball. You don't know about this, do you? According to my insider information, the donation target is Songshan's orphanage, and this suggestion was made by Lin Yi. Right, Coiling Tiger said, Boss Bai has already arranged it for him, so Lin Yi will definitely attend this gala. He has to give Boss Bai face, or else Boss Bai would have helped him for nothing. Chapter 26-24. I'll look into it and think about it. I'll give you a plan that will allow you to recognize Lin Yi right away. You Coiling Tiger said. Don't worry, since I've promised you, I'll help you to the end. That's more like it. Zhao Qibing nodded. Then I'll wait for your good news. All right, I'll take care of it for you. You Coiling Tiger said. But, you need to prepare yourself. Sign up for the auction as a caring merchant. Buy anything you want and get the qualification to attend the masquerade ball. That's not a problem, Zhao Qibing replied quickly. I'll go sign up in a bit. In the afternoon, the school began to prepare for the charity auction. All the faculties were on break, and the students were free to donate items for the auction. The other students could also study in the classroom. Lin Yi was in the middle of practicing when Coiling Tiger Right sat down beside Han Jingjing again. Lin Yi quickly exited his practicing state and turned his head to look at Coiling Tiger Right. Han Jingjing's attack was most likely due to Coiling Tiger Right leaking the news, but Lin Yi didn't feel any hatred towards a dog like Coiling Tiger Right. His hatred was mainly focused on 11th. What do you want? Han Jingjing closed the tablet warily and looked at you Coiling Tiger. That. Han Jingjing. You're a second-level refiner now? Trying to break through to third level? You Coiling Tiger tried to find something to talk about. What do you want? Han Jingjing didn't answer you Coiling Tiger's question directly. It's nothing. You don't need to hide it from me. I know the ingredients I gave you. You're asking for third-level cauldrons and ingredients for third-level elixirs now, so you must be at the peak of second-level refiner already. Otherwise, you wouldn't be trying to break through to third level, right? You Coiling Tiger said. What does that have to do with you? Han Jingjing asked. It's nothing. Didn't Teacher Bai say that students should help each other? You're a second-level refiner, so you must have a lot of experience in alchemy, right? Did you take notes on your tablet? Panhu, you knew it was useless to beat around the bush with Han Jingjing. In the end, Lin Yi was the one who made the final decision, so he deliberately raised his voice so that Lin Yi could hear him. Why don't you lend me your notes? No, Han Jingjing said straightforwardly. Right, Coiling Tiger was speechless, but it was within his expectations. Then how can you lend it to me? What do you want this time? This time? I didn't ask for anything. Han Jingjing was stunned. Then he said, It seems like you took the initiative to find me? Brother Lin Yi. Right, Coiling Tiger seems to have a problem with his head. Can you treat him? Really? Let me see. Lin Yi turned around and reached out to touch the head of the Coiling Tiger. Don't touch me. Right, Coiling Tiger jumped in fright. His body leaned back, but because he used too much force, he directly fell to the ground with a loud bang. Fortunately, he was a cultivator, so he was fine. It was just that he looked a little disheveled. There really is a problem. Why is there such a big reaction? Lin Yi looked at Right Coiling Tiger inexplicably. Nothing. I'm fine. Maybe I didn't sleep well last night. Right Coiling Tiger randomly made up an excuse and got up from the ground. Then he said, Lin Yi, Han Jingjing's notes. Do you want to exchange it? Right Coiling Tiger was afraid that Lin Yi would come to treat him again, so he quickly changed the topic. There was no problem with his head at all. He was afraid that if he was treated by Lin Yi, he would become a fool again. There was a precedent for this. Previously, the blue-haired man was turned into an idiot by Lin Yi. Right Coiling Tiger had to be careful. You still want to exchange? But I don't have anything else I need. Lin Yi spread his hands. He said regretfully. No. Right Coiling Tiger thought about it and agreed. Last time when he exchanged for Boss Bai's master's information, He already took out most of his assets, except for what Lin Yi didn't need. There really wasn't anything else. If he took it out, it would be the same things repeatedly. Right Coiling Tiger could only say, "Why don't you think about it again and see what you lack?" "I don't seem to lack anything except for some money," Lin Yi said. "I want to donate some money to the Songshan orphanage, but I'm a bit short on cash." Right Coiling Tiger thought, "Are you asking me to donate? But if I donate, what if you don't give me the information?" But Right Coiling Tiger still asked, "How much money do you lack?" "About 8 million, Lin Yi said. "You mean you want me to donate about 8 million? Right Coiling Tiger frowned. Although 8 million wasn't a lot, it couldn't be wasted, right? This amount of money really wasn't much for the hidden Right family that ran the pill business. Moreover, Right Coiling Tiger didn't need to pay for it himself. He could just ask for it from home. "Let me think about it. I didn't ask you to donate." Lin Yi shook his head. "You go back first. I'll tell you after I think about it." "That's fine, but you have to be quick." Right Coiling Tiger nodded and said. After Right Coiling Tiger left, Han Jingjing asked Lin Yi in a low voice, "Lin Yi Gidge, do you really want to exchange information with him?" "No, but we can do this like this and this." Lin Yi lowered his voice and said a few words to Han Jingjing. "NN." Han Jingjing nodded quickly after listening and said, "Okay, Jingjing understands." Right Coiling Tiger didn't have the ability to read lips, and he was far away. He couldn't clearly see what Lin Yi said. Moreover, Lin Yi used voice-condensed qi. Other than Han Jingjing, no one else could hear it at all. However, Right Coiling Tiger didn't think too much about it. He thought that Lin Yi was discussing with Han Jingjing about exchanging information with him. Seeing that Lin Yi took it to heart, he was quite happy. The student union had already started planning for the charity gala. According to past practices, the host and staff would be chosen from the freshmen. The purpose of this was to give the freshman members of the student union a chance to train. What Lin Yi didn't expect was that Yushu would be one of the hosts. There were 3 hosts, 1 male and 2 female. Lin Yi didn't know the other girl, but the guy was a trap. He didn't know how the student council chose the hosts. After the photos of the hosts were posted on the campus forum, Lin Yi thought that it was 3 girls. Chapter 26-25. After school, Lin Yi waited for the Miss and Shu to get in the car and asked curiously, "Shu, how did you become the host?" "Because Yao Yao's auction item is too special. If I'm not the host, there'll be problems if someone else auctions it," Yushu said. "What item?" Lin Yi paused. "It's not some first kiss or something, is it?" "Wow, Shield Bro, you're amazing. You're even better than Genius Shu. You guessed it right away?" Yushu's eyes widened in surprise. "But it's not my first kiss, I gave it to Shield Bro a long time ago." "Ahem, Shu, can you get to the point? If you continue with this nonsense, I won't cooperate with you anymore." Meng Yao glared at Yushu, stopping her from continuing. However, Xinyan and Han Jingjing looked at Lin Yi and Meng Yao strangely. Xinyan was too embarrassed to ask, but Han Jingjing didn't avoid it. "Lin Yi bro, have you and Yao Yao been together for a long time?" It's just a drink," Lin Yi explained. "I see." Han Jingjing saw that there was no more gossip, so she stopped asking. However, Meng Yao felt slightly relieved and disappointed at the same time. She didn't know why, but she felt like she was misunderstood. She didn't feel happy after Lin Yi explained it clearly. "But, is it still Yao Yao's kiss this time? Shu, are you trying to trick Zhong Pingliang again?" Lin Yi suddenly remembered that Zhong Pingliang came back to school. Although he kept a low profile, Lin Yi still heard about him. He's so rich, of course I'm going to trick him," Yushu said. "All right, Shu, I wouldn't be messing around with you if it wasn't for the sake of the orphanage." "Let's go home, I'm hungry," Meng Yao explained. She didn't know who she was explaining to, but she felt that it was a good thing. She didn't know who she was talking to, but she felt that it was to Lin Yi. Realization dawned on Lin Yi. No wonder Meng Yao was messing around with Yushu. It was because of the orphanage. As for kissing, Lin Yi didn't care. With Shu around, Miss wouldn't be at a disadvantage. After returning home, Han Jingjing and Han Xiaoqiao returned to Lin Yi's villa after having dinner. Han Jingjing was busy with the mission Lin Yi gave her, and Yushu, on the other hand, came over to Lin Yi mysteriously. Shield bro. What? You don't have to be so secretive in your own home? Lin Yi couldn't help but find it funny when he saw Xiao Shu tiptoeing around. That's true. Yushu giggled. Shield bro, do you have something that makes the skin red and swollen quickly when it comes in contact with the skin? The more overbearing, the better. What are you doing? Lin Yi asked curiously. Of course it's useful. Yushu said. Is it useful or not? I do have it. But why do you want it? Lin Yi didn't know what Yushu wanted. To protect Yao Yao's chastity, of course. If you want to turn Yao Yao into a second-hand one, then pretend I didn't say anything. Yushu said. Then you won't be the only man who kissed Yao Yao. Shu, what are you talking about? Meng Yao and Xin Yan picked up the plates and came out of the kitchen. Yushu said that she was a second-hand one, and that she was kissed by Lin Yi. She was furious. Do you want to get beaten up? Yao Yao, I'm trying to help you. Yushu didn't expect Meng Yao to come out at this time. Help me? I don't need your help with Lin Yi and my business. Meng Yao blushed. Go do what you're supposed to do. If you stick your nose into other people's business, I'll let Lin Yi turn you into a second-hand one. Wah! Yushu froze. She looked at Meng Yao blankly. After a while she said, Yao Yao, did you misunderstand? Misunderstand what? Misunderstand your ass. Aren't you trying to get me and Lin Yi together again? You're even asking him to turn me into a second-hand one. Meng Yao was even angrier when she heard that Yushu not only didn't admit it, but was even trying to deny it. She couldn't blame her for misunderstanding. Meng Yao came out of the kitchen. She only heard half of the conversation. She wasn't a practitioner, and her hearing wasn't that good. If Shu didn't speak a little louder, she wouldn't have heard it at all. She couldn't hear it clearly, so she could only guess. But what did Shu say about turning her into a second-hand one and letting Lin Yi kiss her? Didn't that mean she wanted Lin Yi to push her down? How could Meng Yao not be angry? They could talk about this in private. Why would she tell Lin Yi directly? Ugh! Yushu paused for a while. Yao Yao, you really do like Shield bro, you wouldn't be feeling guilty otherwise. Shu was saying that she was afraid that after Pinliang kissed you, you become second-hand and Shield bro wouldn't like it anymore, but you heard it as if she wanted Shield bro too. Yushu was chased up the stairs by Meng Yao, and Xin Yan, on the other hand, was covering her mouth with a smile. The longer she stayed here, the more joy she'd come to realize. Hee, Xin Yan, Yao Yao and Shu are easy to get along with. Are you used to this place? Lin Yi smiled and shook his head. Not bad. Yao Yao and Shu are both nice to me. They don't seem like outsiders. Xin Yan smiled, a little envious. They're still a little polite to me though. After all, how long have I known them? It's not as deep as the relationship between the two of them. I want to participate in a fight like this, but I don't have the chance. That's true, but you'll get used to it. Lin Yi said. You're already a lot better than me. When I first came here, they didn't like me at all, always wanting to kick me out. No way. Xin Yan was a little surprised after hearing Lin Yi's words. She said in disbelief. They seem to care about you a lot, don't they? They didn't like you at all at first, even wanting to kick you out? Actually, when we met on the train, I had just arrived at Songshan. I was ordered by an elder to protect them. Lin Yi hadn't mentioned this to Xin Yan before, but now was the perfect time to bring it up. When I, a man, moved into their villa, no one would welcome me. Chapter 26-26. If it weren't for the fact that Xin Yan could feel Lin Yi's physiological reactions and the rapid breathing when he hugged her to sleep, she would have thought that there was something wrong with Lin Yi's sexual orientation. But the more it was like that, the more Xin Yan felt that Lin Yi was a good guy. It was hard for a guy his age to not have something going on if he had to share a bed with a girl every day. So sometimes, Xin Yan even felt that Lin Yi wasn't from the same world as them. Lin Yi was really a first-year student, but the calmness he showed sometimes was beyond his age. Xin Yan couldn't help but chuckle as she recalled how he dressed up the first time they met on the train. Oh right. No wonder they're rejecting you. You were dressed like a country bumpkin when you first came here. It's already good enough that they'd let you into their villa. Haha. Lin Yi shrugged and said helplessly, my hometown is a small village. It's normal for me to dress like a country bumpkin. If I dressed like this, people would probably stare at me every day. I just came from my hometown, and I didn't have time to change. Yeah, I thought you were just an honest country bumpkin back then, and I was worried to death when I saw you getting scammed by those scammers. Who would have thought that you were just faking it? Xinyan said, a little fascinated as she recalled the first time she met Lin Yi. Actually, if they didn't lie to me, I wouldn't bother to lie to them. Lin Yi said. That's true. Xinyan thought of Lin Yi's personality and agreed. She wanted to say something, but a wave of sleepiness hit her. She yawned and turned to Lin Yi. Let's not talk about this for now. Let's go to bed. I'm a little tired. Okay, you go first. I'll give Shu some medicine. Lin Yi didn't forget about the strange medicine Yushu asked for. Lin Yi didn't even have to ask to know that it was most likely for Pinliang. It was true that Pinliang was unlucky every time, but the more he suffered, the braver he became. He was even accepted as a disciple by an ancient sect? Lin Yi was amazed at the thought. He regretted not killing Zhong Pinliang back then. But then again, back in Songshan, an undercurrent was surging. Lin Yi's own strength was not too high, and there were many enemies, so it was difficult for Lin Yi to harden his heart and be ruthless to the enemies, lest he attracted their collective backlash. Lin Yi went to the pharmacy and prepared the medicine Yushu needed before returning to the villa. In the blink of an eye, the day of the charity gala arrived. That afternoon, classes ended early, and the school auditorium was decorated with lanterns and streamers. Students and celebrities who participated in the auction were sitting in the front row. Everyone was holding a reflective board for bidding, which was also convenient for them to bid. The audience at the back were mostly there to watch the show. Most of the students didn't have the money to bid. They came here to have fun, and their way of showing their love was simple. They just needed to donate money after the auction. After all, the starting price of the auction items weren't low. Since it was a charity event, the value of the item itself was just a formality. The final price depended on how much love everyone donated. Lin Yi sat with Xinyan, Han Jingjing, He Meiyue, and Bai Weitua. Although Bai Weitua wouldn't participate in the auction, he was a student council member of the medicine major. Naturally, he had the right to sit in the front. At 6 that night, the auction started on time. First, the school's director spoke. Then, the student council member announced the purpose of the charity gala and where the donations would go. Then, the auction officially started. The first to come out was Yushu, followed by the trap and another girl from the other group. It was quite the entrance for Lin Yizhen. Of course, the people who knew Yushu were shocked as well. Logically speaking, a guy and two girls combination like this usually had the guy walking in the front or in the middle, and the two girls half a step behind or standing on the sides. But they just had to be the background of Yushu. But Lin Yi looked at the three figures on the stage, and he understood the reason. Among them, Yushu's chest was the biggest. Needless to say, the trap's chest was flat, and the other girl's chest was like an airport runway. It was understandable why Yushu stood in the middle. Plus, the guy's dressing was similar to the girls'. With the three of them appearing, it was more like Yushu was surrounded by the two girls like the moon. Dear guests, school leaders, and students, good evening. I am the host of this charity gala. My name is Shu. Yushu smiled as she picked up the microphone and said to the guests. Lin Yi heard Yushu's self-introduction and almost burst out laughing. Shu. Another name? People who weren't familiar with Shu probably wouldn't think much of it. After all, it wasn't a big deal to change a name to fit the theme of a show. As expected, the people only clapped after Yushu was done, but no one laughed. They didn't know that Shu had many names. I am the host, Tai Weiliang. The trap guy introduced himself as well. I am the host, Zhan Huanzi. The airport runway girl introduced herself as well and said a few words of thanks. The charity gala was about to begin. Too much a trap? A real man? Lin Yi felt like he was being struck by lightning. Was he thinking too much, or was this arranged on purpose? However, these were unimportant matters. The auction was quickly pushed forward by the three of them. Needless to say, other than the eloquent little Shu, Tai Weiliang and Zhen Huanzi were also excellent hosts. They knew how to stir up the atmosphere of the auction. The items on auction weren't eye-catching, but it explained a lot about the history of the item and the love it contained. For example, there was a passbook with only a few yuan left. It was donated by a poor student, but it was very meaningful. Chapter 26-27. FF37, FF18, XFF33. FF23, OMU 85C0F, 8BF4, 66F4, 65B0, 6700, 5 February, 5C0F, 8BF4, 9605, 8BFB, 7F51. This passbook had accompanied this poor student through high school and into university. Now, this passbook was filled to the brim. However, this student was not willing to change it. Instead, he had kept it all the way until the last page. He was now able to work as a tutor and didn't need the help of his fellow villagers anymore. However, he had copied down all the numbers in the passbook, preparing to pay them back one by one after he graduated from university. One had to admit that this passbook had a lot of meaning, and it fit the theme of this auction very well. And so, this passbook was bought by an entrepreneur who often donated to poor students for a high price of 1 million kuai. He was going to keep it when he got back. The items at the end were also very meaningful. Of course, there were some really valuable items like jewelry and antiques, but most of them were donated by the professors and staff of the school. The auction continued in an orderly manner, and the rich people had a tacit understanding with each other. They wouldn't compete unless it was something they really liked. The final price was also related to the financial resources of their respective companies. Some items were sold for tens of thousands, while others were sold for hundreds of thousands or even millions. It didn't matter how much it was a sign of love. The next item is a piece of art. It was donated by Lin Yi from the biology and medicine major. It's a piece of art he made himself. The starting price is 5,000 kuai. It was Tai Weiliang who introduced it, not Yushu. Yushu didn't need to introduce it, since what Lin Yi donated was just a normal item. The carving was exquisite, but Lin Yi wasn't a master sculptor. It would be very expensive if it could reach a few thousand kuai. As for the starting price of 5,000 kuai, that was purely to give the rich people a chance to show their love. Zhao Qibing was sitting beside Yu Panhu and Kong Xiaolong, waiting for an opportunity to buy something to qualify for the masquerade party. But it was still early, and the auction was only halfway through. He wasn't in a rush. He just wanted to see if he could get something he liked. Wouldn't that be killing two birds with one stone? But when he heard the host say that the next item was donated by Lin Yi, he raised his card and shouted before Tai Weiliang could even show the details of Lin Yi's gift. 5 million! What dash the crowd went into an uproar. Such an impatient bid. And a bid of 5 million at the start. This was the first time this auction had started. Even if it was a donation, everyone would raise the price step by step. Who would directly shout such a high price at the start? Moreover, the more expensive items were usually things that had some sort of sentimental value to them, or things that were worth a lot of money. Souvenirs like Lin Yi's were actually one of the least popular items. The starting price was low, and it was mainly reserved for small bosses who didn't have much money, or alumni who just returned to their alma mater. Everyone looked at Qibing as if they were looking at an idiot when he said 5 million. But Qibing, however, didn't care at all. He was still casually holding up his auction sign, looking at the guests who were looking at him with disdain. He thought to himself, "You people don't know that 5 million in exchange for a broken leg once. It's really worth it." Tai Weiliang was shocked as well. It took him a while to react. Did he miss something? Wasn't this just a normal piece of art? How could it be sold at such a high price? Could it be something good? But he didn't see anything special. If he knew that this was so precious, he would have put it at the end. He shouldn't have taken it out so early. But what Tai Weiliang didn't know was that if he really put it at the end of the auction, it wouldn't be sold at such a high price. The reason was simple. Zhao Qibing wouldn't wait until the end of the auction. He would definitely buy something before the end of the auction. Even if they did see Lin Yi's item in the end, they'd already have something else in their hands, and wouldn't bid 5 million straight away. Even if they wanted to get on Lin Yi's good side, they'd only bid 2 or 3 million. 5 million. This gentleman from number 74 has bid 5 million. Is there anyone who wants to bid higher? Tai Weilyong asked expectantly. After all, Zhao Qibing raised the price to 5 million so suddenly. From his point of view, this might really be something good. There would definitely be people competing for it. He was very satisfied with the result because someone else had made a bid. 6 million. A voice sounded. This person was Fatty Lai. Lin Yi didn't expect someone to bid 5 million for a piece of art he casually made. Originally, this item was for Fatty Lai. Although Fatty Lai wasn't a businessman in Donghai, he was from the nearby Songshan city. He was also a well-known company, so it wasn't surprising that Fatty Lai would come here. As for Fatty Lai, he didn't expect Zhao Qibing to bid first. But this was what Lin Yi told him to bid on Lin Yi's art. So, Fatty Lai still bid. Fuck. Zhao Qibing froze. He didn't expect someone to compete with him for a piece of art. From his point of view, if it wasn't for Lin Yi, he wouldn't pick it up even if it was thrown in front of him, let alone spend money to buy it. But he had already bid. If he didn't compete and Lin Yi wasn't happy, he wouldn't be able to do anything if he didn't break his leg. After all, Lin Yi could tell the school that someone wanted him to break his leg. This suggestion was too difficult. He couldn't do it. And when that happened, the school would definitely support Lin Yi. After all, breaking someone's leg wasn't something that he could do. It was considered intentional injury. And so, Zhao Qibing continued bidding. 8 million. To the hidden heir of the Zhao family, this amount of money was just a small amount of money. If he could master the 1,000 legs, that would be the most important thing. Old Master Zhao was also very supportive of his matter, so money was not a problem. Tai Weilyong was dumbfounded. There was really someone competing for this? Not only that, but Qibing had even raised the price even higher? Was this thing really that good? In fact, it wasn't only Tai Weilyong who was dumbfounded. Everyone else was dumbfounded as well. Especially the bosses. There were many people with good eyesight, but they couldn't see what was so good about Lin Yi's art. 8 million. Is there anyone who wants to bid higher? Mr. Number 74 bid 8 million. Tai Weilyong came back to his senses and quickly asked. FF37, W03C9, 30FB. Off 4D. Chapter 26-28. FF37, FF18, XFF33. FF23, OMU 85C0F, 8BF4, 66F4, 65B0, 6700, 5 February, 5C0F, 8BF4, 9605, 8BFB, 7F51, Fatty Lai frowned, but continued. 10 million. The money was going to be donated to the orphanage anyway. Even if he didn't do it this way, he'd still do it on his own, so he had to complete the mission Lin Yi gave him. He was just confused as to why Qibing was competing with him for this auction item. Fatty Lai was very clear about the details of this thing. It was made by Lin Yi on a whim, it had no value at all. What was Qibing thinking? While Fatty Lai was confused, wasn't Qibing the same? Qibing was about to explode from anger. Was this Fatty Lai crazy? He was just Lin Yi's follower, why did he have to suck up to him like this? Could it be that Lin Yi sent him here to raise the price? That didn't make sense. Lin Yi didn't even know that Qibing would be participating in the auction, and he couldn't have guessed Qibing's plan, nor could he have guessed Qibing's intention to curry favor with Lin Yi. So the possibility of Qibing raising the price was very small. 15 million. Qibing was enraged at the thought, adding another 5 million. If it weren't for the fact that Fatty Lai was Lin Yi's follower, Qibing would have sent someone to give him a warning. But if he really did, he wouldn't be able to break his leg, but his head would be chopped off. 20 million. Fatty Lai was a little annoyed, but he wasn't afraid of Qibing. Qibing was speechless. What kind of person was this? Although Qibing could take out 20 million, it would be a waste to spend 20 million just to get on Lin Yi's good side. He didn't even know if Lin Yi would appreciate it or not. That would be too much of a waste. And so, Qibing hesitated. He'd already made the gesture, and if he gave up now, Lin Yi wouldn't be able to say anything, right? It was his underlings who kept increasing the price. It wasn't that he didn't want to bid, so he kept quiet. 20 million. Tai Weiliang was extremely excited. Number 60 has bid 20 million. Please surpass it. But this time, Qibing didn't bid. He wasn't an idiot, and it was fine to curry favor with Lin Yi. But if it was too much, it would be meaningless. Yushu panicked when Qibing stopped bidding. Fatty Lie's 20 million belonged to the orphanage, but Qibing's wasn't. If Qibing didn't bid this time, the price wouldn't be as high next time. Number 74 has already bid 8 million. It seems like he's determined to get it. If he doesn't get it, he'll be in for a tragedy, and the owner of the item won't be happy. So, 20 million going once. Yushu looked at Qibing and said slowly, "Fuck, big cow, you're scaring me." But Qibing was really scared. He raised the sign in his hand again. 22 million. Fatty Lie was about to make a bid when Yushu waved her hand at him subconsciously. Fatty Lie paused and didn't continue bidding. Although Lin Yi didn't give him a direct order, Yushu's order was the same. 22 million going once. 22 million going twice. 22 million going thrice. Sold. Congratulations, number 74, for winning this item. Yushu successfully let Qibing be the winner this time. Many people didn't understand this strange auction. Even if they were to donate money, there was no need to do this, right? Strange, very strange. And judging from the situation just now, it wasn't just a donation. It wasn't as simple as just donation. If Qibing really wanted to donate, he could have just quoted a high price of 22 million. There was no need for him to raise the price bit by bit in front of so many people. The last bid was obviously made with gritted teeth. However, to say that this auction item was valuable was also nonsense. What value could an ordinary item have? Puzzled, everyone was puzzled. Even Lin Yi was puzzled. Was there something wrong with Qibing's head? Still, no matter how strange the situation was, the auction had to continue. The rest of the auction was a lot more normal, and the ridiculous situation from before didn't happen again. Even Fatty Lie, on the other hand, just casually bought an unremarkable item and bid 5 million instead of 20 million. The next item to be auctioned is a tablet computer. There is a set of notes on it. It was provided by Han Jingjing, a student who majored in medicine in the biology department. It contains her notes on studying pharmacology. The starting price of this set of notes is 5 million. Those who need it, don't miss out on it. Otherwise, there won't be another chance like this. Yushu said as she picked up the latest item. Yushu's words sent the crowd into an uproar. 5 million? A set of learning notes? Was this strange situation happening again? What was this thing for 5 million? Even if it was a tablet computer, it shouldn't be this expensive. This was the item with the highest starting price since the start of the auction. Even the previous auction item that was sold at a high price of 22 million had a very low starting price. How could the study notes suddenly be sold at a price of 5 million? Tai Weiliang and Zhen Huanzi were panicking. In the auction, the starting price of this item was estimated to be $500. How did it suddenly become 5 million? Could it be that Yushu made a mistake? At that thought, Tai Weiliang and Zhen Huanzi quickly signaled Chen Yushu with their eyes, but Chen Yushu ignored them and kept her eyes on the audience seats. 5 million? Learning notes? Tablet computer? Right Pan, who couldn't sit still after hearing Yushu's introduction. If it were any other learning notes, he wouldn't care. But this was Han Jingjing's learning notes. And the starting price was shockingly high. Could it be that Lin Yi did this on purpose? Earlier, Right Pan who said to Lin Yi that he wanted to exchange for Han Jingjing's notes, but Lin Yi rejected him because he didn't have anything to exchange. Now that he was auctioning it, didn't that mean that Lin Yi wanted to exchange it for money? That's right, Lin Yi did mention that he was in need of money, and even asked Yupon Hu to donate 10 or so million. Could this be the case for the notes? He recalled that Lin Yi was the one who'd organized the auction, donating to that Songshan orphanage. At that thought, Ponhu was almost certain that Lin Yi was the one who'd prepared the notes for him, the one who'd made him buy them. Then he thought about Yushu's hint. This must be it. And so, Right Pan who quickly raised the auction board in his hand and shouted, 501 million. What dash? The crowd was shocked again. Someone actually bought it? What was going on? There was a strange incident before, And this time, when everyone's eyes fell on Right Pan Hu, they suddenly realized that he was sitting next to Zhao Qibing. So they were together? Was there something wrong with these two? FF37, W03C9, 30FB. Off 4D. Chapter 26-29. FF37, FF18, XFF33. FF23, OMU 85C0F, 8BF4, 66F4, 65B0, 6700, 5 February, 5C0F, 8BF4, 9605, 8BFB, 7F51. Tai Weiliang and Zhen Huanzi's mouths twitched. Someone actually bought it for 5 million? Although it was only an increase of 10,000, the starting price was too high. This time, no one competed with Right Coiling Tiger because they didn't know what it was. The only thing they could think of was that Han Jingjing was probably a beauty, and Right Coiling Tiger was interested in her. He wanted to please her, so he spent a lot of money to buy this notebook. This was the only explanation. Otherwise, who would spend such a high price to buy something useless? Even if he did buy it, he wouldn't spend 5 million. Under everyone's shocked gazes, Right Coiling Tiger was enjoying it. You idiots don't know shit. I spent 5,010,000 to buy the refiner's notes. It's so worth it. Lin Yi probably didn't think that he would be so shameless as to only increase the price by 10,000, right? Ha 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 ha, he must have miscalculated, thinking that he could get a higher price in the auction, but he didn't think that he would be invincible in shamelessness. 5,010,000 going once. 5,010,000 going twice. Sold. Congratulations to Mr. 75 for winning this item. Seeing that no one else was bidding, Yushu let Right Coiling Tiger close the deal. This time, Fatty Lai didn't come out to cause trouble, which made Right Coiling Tiger feel lucky. If Fatty Lai came out to cause trouble, he would have to increase the price. This also confirmed that Fatty Lai's previous bid wasn't to raise the price, but he really wanted to buy Lin Yi's item. Lin Yi probably told him to donate in this way, but he didn't think that Zhao Qibing would appear out of nowhere. Later, Lin Yi might have hinted to him to give up, and it could be counted as a small trick for Zhao Qibing. Phew! Right Coiling Tiger breathed out in relief. It was a close call, but not a close call. Most importantly, he actually obtained Han Jingjing's Alchemist Master's notes at a super low price of 5.01 million. It was simply too worth it. I say, second young master you, why are you shooting this thing? Are you also trying to please Lin Yi? Zhao Qibing looked at Right Coiling Tiger strangely and asked. This is what I've always wanted. 5,010,000 is simply too cheap. I reckon that this is the final transaction price. It will make Lin Yi's heart ache. Right Pan Hu said proudly, if he had directly offered a price of tens of millions, maybe I would have bought it, but it's only 5 million. Wow, it's amazingly cheap. Oh! Qibing didn't care about the notes, he only cared about his legs. The auction was still going on, and after a few more items, it was time for Wang Xinyan's donation. It was a jade bracelet, a birthday gift from Xinyan's father. The item itself was quite valuable. It was a birthday gift for Xinyan too, so it meant a lot to her. Of course. It meant a lot to Xinyan, but to others, it wasn't much. But no matter what, Xinyan's donation was still valuable. The market price of a jade bracelet was around 100,000. So, the starting price of this item was higher, set at 150,000. Zhang Duopan and Fan Gonha sat together. Zhang Duopan heard that he Meiyue also donated, so naturally, he wanted to bid for it to show that Fan Gonha liked Wang Xinyan. He wanted to do the same, but when he heard that Xinyan's bracelet was priced at 150,000, and it was only the starting price, he didn't dare to bid anymore. Zhao Long, on the other hand, was ready to make his move. He had been suppressed by Lin Yi for a long time, watching his fiancé and his enemy together. He was one of the most frustrated fiancés in history, but he had no choice. Kong Ming Ming hadn't established himself in the Sky Elixir sect yet, and even the Hidden House you didn't dare to mess with Lin Yi. Going against Lin Yi would be suicide. So, he had no choice but to endure for now. He wanted to take a roundabout route and start with Xinyan. If Xinyan's heart was on him, then Lin Yi wouldn't be able to do anything. With Lin Yi's personality, he would just let it be. 200,000. Zhao Long stated his price. Number 73 has bid 200,000. Is there a higher bid? Zhen Huanzi asked. House Kong was rich now, and Zhao Long was being groomed as the heir of House Kong, but Zhao Long wouldn't spend money recklessly. He was older than Yu Panhu and Zhao Qibing, and he wouldn't do things rashly. From his perspective, this bracelet was only worth 200,000. Anything more than that would be burning money. As for donating to the orphanage, Zhao Long didn't have that kind of love. The lives of those children had nothing to do with him. He was a selfish person. Fan Gonha heard the bid, and he was tempted. After all, the bid this time wasn't as ridiculous as the previous auctions. The previous entrepreneurs wouldn't make such a low bid if they wanted to donate, and they would add at least 100,000 to 200,000. But this time, it was 200,000. Fan Gonha looked at Zhang Duopan, hesitating. If it's not more than 500,000, I'll take it for you, Zhang Duopan said, seeing that Fan Gonha had been at his beck and call for so many years. But in his mind, this jade bracelet was definitely not going to be sold for 500,000. This promise was as good as nothing, and he was just trying to get Fan Gonha on his side. Fan Gonha, on the other hand, was moved to tears. 250,000. Zhao Long frowned. It wasn't surprising that someone would bid for it. There were better items before, and people had bid for them as well. After all, they were both donating money, and who wouldn't want to get something of similar value? 300,000. Zhao Long calmly stated his price. 350,000. Fan Gonha was feeling good. It was the first time he felt this sense of achievement from bidding. It was hundreds of thousands, and he just threw it out like that. 500,000. Zhao Long was getting impatient. The other side had been suppressing him, not willing to pay a single cent more, so Zhao Long directly bid 500,000 to test the waters. Fan Gonha was feeling good, but Zhao Long's bid woke him up. He wanted to cry, but no tears came out. He had woken up from his dream. 1 million. Lin Yi, naturally, didn't mind increasing the price. In fact, Lin Yi had wanted to increase the price earlier, but Fan Gonha beat him to it, so Lin Yi waited. FF37, W03C9, 30FB. Off 4D. Chapter 2630. FF37, FF18, XFF33. FF23, OMU 85C0F, 8BF4, 66F4, 65B0, 6700, 5 February, 5C0F, 8BF4, 9605, 8BFB, 7F51, Xinyan, who was sitting beside Lin Yi, felt her heart skip a beat when she heard the price. She didn't think that Lin Yi would participate in this kind of jealousy. She looked at Lin Yi, confused. Was he raising the price for Zhao Long, or did he really want the bracelet? If it was the first situation, then it was understandable. But if it was the second situation, Xinyan couldn't help but blush at the thought. Xinyan found it harder and harder to reject Lin Yi's feelings. Some things couldn't be controlled even if she wanted to, but she was afraid that Lin Yi and Zhao Long would clash. At least for now, it seemed that Lin Yi shouldn't make an enemy of the Sky Elixir sect. The fight between Lin Yi and Lil One at the school gates had been extremely dangerous, and if it hadn't been for Boss Bai's timely intervention, the outcome would have been very hard to say. As a result, Xinyan was very afraid that Lin Yi would get into conflict with a stronger power, and so she was always very careful when interacting with Lin Yi. Zhao Long was a little embarrassed when he heard that it was Lin Yi who made the bid, but he couldn't give up. If Lin Yi really got the bracelet, where would his face be? 2 million. Lust blinded him. No matter how smart Zhao Long was, he was a little impulsive when he was fighting with Lin Yi over the girl. He doubled the price. Zhao Long's bidding method made the other bosses who were interested in the bracelet give up. It seemed that Zhao Long was determined to get it, and there was no need to compete with him. 5 million. Lin Yi said faintly as he raised his card. Xinyan jumped. She didn't mind Lin Yi raising the price, but if he raised it too much, Zhao Long might hold a grudge against him. She didn't want Lin Yi to have a conflict with Zhao Long, but she didn't know how to stop it. 1. Zhao Long was about to bid 10 million when he realized that 10 million was too much. He quickly changed his bid. 6 million. 10 million. Lin Yi still said indifferently. Zhao Long's mouth twitched. 10 million. He didn't say it out loud, but Lin Yi did. This made him tremble with rage. Lin Yi, just you wait. One day, when my brother Kong Ming Ming becomes awesome, I'll kill you. 11 million. Zhao Long took a deep breath. He said. Fortunately, House Kong wasn't the old House Kong anymore. They had taken over the Sky Elixir sect and the hidden House Yu's low-end elixir business, making a lot of money. Low-end elixirs weren't to be underestimated. They didn't have much effect on training, but they had a unique effect on strengthening the body and extending lifespan. It was why they were very popular in the common world's high-end auctions. Just like the auction held by House Yu, Lin Yi's pill of life extension and toxin cleansing could be sold for hundreds of millions. But a second-level elixir was only around 10 million in the practitioner's market. Lin Yi didn't make a bid this time. This price was about right. It wouldn't be good if it exceeded Zhao Long's budget. Xinyan breathed out in relief. The bracelet didn't mean much to her. It was just a gift. She was happy that she could get so much money to donate to the needy orphans, so it didn't matter that Zhao Long got it. Congratulations to Mr. 73 for winning this item. Zhan Huanzi announced the ownership of Xinyan's bracelet. The next item up for auction was an item donated by He Meiyue. It was also a piece of jewelry. It was a piece of jewelry, but it was made of gold. According to the market price, it was worth around a few thousand to 10,000. It wasn't particularly valuable, so the starting price was set at 20,000. However, even 20,000 yuan was a very high price for Bai Weitua. Bai Weitua glanced at He Meiyue and weighed in his heart. He could take out 20,000 yuan, but he was afraid that others would increase the price. It was better to keep quiet than to make a bid that he couldn't get. He Meiyue, naturally, knew what Bai Weitua was thinking. She smiled. It's just a piece of jewelry. It's not a big deal. It doesn't have any commemorative value. Lin Yi didn't get Xinyan's bracelet, right? That's true. Bai Weitua relaxed a lot after hearing He Meiyue's words. Just as Bai Weitua expected, Zhang Duopan won the bid. He Meiyue didn't say anything either. The auction continued, and soon, it was the climax of the auction. The next item is very special. Yushu, the host, raised the microphone again. This item is a kiss. Everyone knows who the school beauty of the economics faculty is. This kiss is from the school beauty of the economics faculty, Meng Yao. Of course, it's not a real kiss, but a safe kiss through the glass. If you want to kiss the goddess, don't miss this chance. Pin Liang came to the auction today with another goal in mind. He wanted to find a chance to go on stage and announce his challenge to Lin Yi. Pin Liang had been keeping a low profile ever since he returned to school. He didn't put on a stage in public, nor did he promote himself. Today, however, he wanted to make a name for himself. He wanted to challenge Lin Yi again in public. He had the centipede in his hand, and naturally, he wouldn't be afraid of Lin Yi this time. Pin Liang challenged Lin Yi in front of everyone. His goal was to let everyone be witnesses, in case Lin Yi went back on his words if he lost. He was just worried that he wouldn't have a chance to go on stage, and the last item was a kiss from Meng Yao. It made him very excited. If he could go on stage and kiss Meng Yao, and then challenge Lin Yi, how awesome would that be? Although it was a safe kiss through the glass, Pin Liang could still fantasize about it. At least it was better than that idiot Zhang Wen buying a broken glass. Pin Liang was eager to give it a try. Especially back in high school, he'd suggested this event to have a safe kiss with Meng Yao, but things didn't work out as he'd hoped. He'd drawn two beautiful girls instead, and he'd almost died from disgust. Now that he had a chance like this, how could he let it go? This safe kiss is also the last item. It will be done on stage in front of all the guests, so please don't miss it. Yushu said. He could really go on stage? In front of all the guests? Pin Liang was even more tempted. He was afraid that Yushu would go back on her word and not let him kiss her. He'd waste his money then. But Yushu couldn't go back on her word in front of all the guests. What was the point of the auction if she did that? And so, Pin Liang was completely relieved. FF37, W03C9, 30 FB. Off 4D. Chapter 26-31. FF37, FF18, XFF33. FF23, OMU 85C0F, 8BF4, 66F4, 65B0, 6700, 5 February, 5C0F, 8BF4, 9605, 8BFB, 7F51. The starting price for a safe kiss is 1 million. Interested parties can start bidding now, Yushu said. This item was very special, and there was a lot of controversy when the student council reviewed it. But since it was a safe kiss through glass, the council agreed to it. The student council also agreed. After all, the atmosphere in the university was still very open, and it was a safe kiss, so it wouldn't cause any bad effects. 1 million. Buying a kiss from a school beauty was a little expensive, even for the rich people here. After all, Meng Yao wasn't a superstar, she was just a school beauty. No matter how pretty she was, they still felt that 1 million for a kiss was a little too much. Plus, this was just the starting price, and the final price wasn't certain. Of course, these rich people wouldn't do something like kissing in public. What if their wives found out? Wouldn't it be a big deal? Even a safe kiss wasn't safe. The single students who came to the auction were tempted, but who had that much money? This auction was for the celebrities to donate, and the students who could actually participate were few and far between. How many of them were as rich as Tiger Yu, Zhao Qibing, and Zhao Long? 1,200,000. Pin Liang started bidding. Fabai's company didn't have much money, but Pin Liang did. This money was from the Everyday and Everyday sect, but it was for Naipeo's monthly stipend. In the sect, every disciple had a monthly stipend, it was just that the amount was different for each person. Disciples in name were the least, and they only had a few thousand a month. Pin Liang was one of them, and this money wasn't even enough for him to travel down the mountain. Outer disciples, on the other hand, had around 20,000 a month. Inner disciples, on the other hand, had around 100,000 a month. Of course, most of them were direct disciples, and people like Naipeo were at the peak of the direct disciples. The disciples of the sect leader, elders, and old ancestors were the most superior existences in the sect. Every month, they would receive a monthly stipend of 1 million, and when they needed it, they could withdraw it at will. As long as it was beneficial to their cultivation, the sect would be able to take out more money. The Everyday and Everyday sect was a famous demonic sect in Jianghu, producing some mysterious and strange medicines. For example, they could instantly increase one's strength, poison, medicine, and all kinds of strange magic treasures. These could all be sold for a lot of money, so the Everyday and Everyday sect never lacked money. Naipeo didn't need money at all for his training on the mountain, and so the monthly allowance he had, along with some other rewards, amounted to 20 million. Other than giving some to his family every month, the rest was given to Pin Liang. It had to be said. Naipeo may have been Lin Yi's enemy, but he was still very loyal to his boss. Otherwise, he would have been able to take over Pin Liang's head with his current position. 2 million. Lin Yi said as he raised his paddle. Pin Liang wanted to declare war on Lin Yi in the first place, and naturally, he couldn't back down now. Although he was annoyed that Lin Yi was fighting with him, he still raised his paddle. However, he still bid again. 3 million. 4 million. Lin Yi continued. 5 million. Pin Liang was rich now. Naipeo had said that if he ran out of money, he'd call him any time. He'd just go to the sect and withdraw some money. This made Pin Liang feel at ease. The rapid increase in the bidding price scared everyone present. Wasn't this a safe kiss from the school beauty? Why was it being sold at such a high price? Could it be that these two bidders were the school belle's suitors? Were they the rich second-generation sons of the school? That was the only possibility. Otherwise, who would pay such a high price for a school beauty's kiss? It had to be someone chasing after her. And so, the price went up to 10 million in the blink of an eye. This price shocked even Lin Yi. He just raised the price casually, and he didn't expect Pin Liang to be this rich, spending 10 million for a kiss? Since when was his family so rich? Could it be Naipeo's money? It was possible. Pin Liang wouldn't spend money like this, no matter how rich he was. Only those ancient sects would have this kind of wealth. 18 million. Lin Yi made his last bid. He didn't dare raise the price anymore, afraid that he'd have to kiss Mengyao himself if Pinliang didn't make a bid. But a safe kiss like this wasn't as exciting as an indirect kiss. 20 million. This was Pinliang's limit. He could keep asking Naipeo for money, but it was too much of a hassle. Pinliang gritted his teeth and glared at Lin Yi, hoping that he'd stop bidding. As expected, Lin Yi didn't make another bid. Yu Shu, too, could tell that Pinliang couldn't take it anymore. Mr. 82 bids 20 million. Are there any higher bids? Oh. Looks like there's none. 20 million going once, going twice, going thrice, sold. Congratulations, Mr. 82, for winning this item. A kiss from a beauty is worth 1,000 gold. Next, Mr. 82, please come up to the stage and end this auction with a final kiss. Everyone, please give him a round of applause. Wow! Loud applause sounded in the auction house. 20 million to buy a kiss was big news. Everyone was curious, but more than that, they were envious. Pinliang walked up to the stage proudly amidst the cheers. Next, let's welcome the school beauty of the economics faculty, Meng Yao. Yu Shu invited again. Wah! This time, the applause was even louder. The school beauty was much more popular than Pinliang. Meng Yao walked up to the stage slowly, blushing. She knew that Pinliang wouldn't kiss her, but she was still a little embarrassed, especially in front of the whole school. If it weren't for the donations for the orphanage, Meng Yao wouldn't have played along with Yu Shu. However, she knew that Xiaoka had dozens of abandoned babies sent to the orphanage every day. Many of them had congenital diseases, and the treatment for each one of them would cost millions. It was a bottomless pit, but she couldn't just leave them to die, could she? So, for the sake of these sick children, Meng Yao reluctantly accepted it. Yao Yao. Pinliang was a little emotional. This was the goddess of his dreams. He'd had a crush on her for 3 years since the first year of high school, and this was the first time he had a chance to kiss her. Mr. 82, this is safety glass. Please hold it properly, and don't break it. Otherwise, you won't be able to kiss her, and you'll lose this precious opportunity. Yu Shu handed a piece of glass to Pinliang. FF37, W03C9, 30FB. Off 4D. Chapter 2632. FF37, FF18, XFF33. FF23, OMU 85C0F, 8BF4, 66F4, 65B0, 6700, 5 February, 5C0F, 8BF4, 9605, 8BFB, 7F51, this. Pinliang looked at the glass in Yu Shu's hand, hesitating. Was this girl doing the same thing she did to Jiang Wen last time? Did she smear lubricant on the glass and drop it when he took it? He wouldn't have thought too much about it if Yu Shu didn't add anything else, but now that she said it, he was hesitating whether he should take it or not. You don't want it? Yu Shu looked at Pinliang surprised. Mr. 82, are you going to give up on this precious opportunity? Pinliang looked at the glass carefully with the light from the stage, making sure that it wasn't oily. He took it carefully. Of course not, I'm just a little excited. This is the first time I'm standing on the same stage with the goddess of my heart, and we're even going to kiss her. I'm very excited, that's all. Oh, all right, if that's the case, we can start now. Miss Meng Yao, please stand properly. Mr. 82, you can start now. Do you want to kiss her on the cheek first, or on the lips? Yu Shu asked. Oh, can I do it one by one? Pinliang asked, surprised. Of course, you can kiss her on the cheek first, then on the lips. Yu Shu nodded firmly. Okay. Then I'll kiss her on the cheek first. Pinliang picked up the glass piece excitedly and put it in front of his mouth. He was about to kiss Meng Yao's face, but Yu Shu stopped him the moment the glass piece was about to touch Meng Yao's face. Stop! Yu Shu yelled suddenly. Oh! Pinliang was startled, almost falling off the stage. He was about to ask Yu Shu what she was going to do, but he suddenly realized that his mouth was blocked by something, and he couldn't speak. Oh! Woo! Mr. 82, what's wrong with your mouth? Yu Shu cried. Look, everyone, Mr. 82's mouth is swollen like a sausage. It was swollen like a sausage. What was going on? Could it be that he's a monster from another planet that transformed and disguised himself as a student? All the guests were shocked as well. As expected, Pinliang's lips were swollen like sausages. It completely blocked his mouth, making him unable to speak. Mr. 82, do you have an unmentionable disease? That won't do. I can't kiss the campus bell. What if I infect the campus bell? What do you guys think? Yushu asked. Yeah, why is his mouth suddenly swollen? There must be something wrong. That's right, I think this kid must have a hidden illness. It's not a hidden disease. It's an acute infectious disease. I think it's an STD. He got it from his gay friend. Venereal disease. You're so evil. The guests were saying all sorts of things, and Pinliang was scared out of his wits. Why is my mouth swollen? What was going on? Mr. 82, you're sick. Shouldn't you go to the hospital? Look at yourself. Can you still continue with the safe kiss? Yushu asked Pinliang with a face full of concern. Well, Pinliang wanted to say something, but his lips were so swollen that they couldn't be separated. It blocked his mouth, and he couldn't speak. All he could say was some meaningless syllables. What did you say? Yushu asked. Well, Pinliang tried his best to express that he wanted to kiss her even if he was sick. It wasn't easy for him to get this opportunity, so how could he give it up? Oh, Mr. 82 is so generous, so kind. Yushu said. He said that for the school bell's safety, he won't kiss her anymore. He gave up this opportunity, but the money he spent on the auction will still be donated to the orphanage. Please give Mr. 82 a round of applause for his kindness. That's great. That's so kind. The crowd applauded. This time, no one was cursing Pinliang for being sick. Instead, they were sympathizing with him. He spent 20 million, and he still didn't kiss the school bell. This sickness came at the perfect time. And so, Pinliang was pushed down the stage by Yushu, who pretended to support him. Then he returned to the stage with Tai Weiliang and Zhen Huanzi, ending the auction. Lin Yi didn't know the specifics of the safe kiss, but seeing Pinliang's face, he knew that it was the medicine he concocted. The medicine didn't have any side effects though. At most, it would make his lips red and swollen, but it would go away on its own after a while. Lin Yi didn't want to kill him and make an enemy of the everyday sect. Pinliang was kicked off the stage for no reason at all. He rubbed his swollen lips after getting off the stage, not knowing what was going on. Liang bro, what's wrong? Xiaofu was waiting anxiously below the stage. He ran over when he saw Pinliang coming down. Well, Pinliang couldn't speak. He pointed at his mouth, wanting to cry but no tears came out. Type it? Then type it. Brother Liang, why don't you talk to me on your phone? Gao Xiaofu quickly suggested. Woo! Pinliang nodded as he pulled his phone out of his pocket and called Xiaofu. I don't know what's going on. I was just about to kiss Meng Yao when my mouth swelled up and I couldn't say a word. Oh. Xiaofu looked at it, confused as well. He was a bystander, so he guessed what was going on. Liang bro, do you think that Yushu bitch did this to you? Pinliang's eyes lit up. He slapped his thigh and typed. Yeah, it must be. There's something wrong with the glass. Pinliang wasn't an idiot. He understood what was going on with Xiaofu's reminder. Jiang Wen had been tricked once before, and Pinliang was wondering why Yushu wasn't tricking him anymore. It turned out that she did something to the glass. Pinliang was furious at the thought. Damn it, that little bitch was too evil. She was the most evil person in the universe. Yushu's actions had taken away his chance to challenge Lin Yi. It seemed like he had to find another way to do it. Then what do we do now, Liang bro? Xiaofu asked. Pinliang frowned and took out a small bottle from his pocket. Inside were some common pills that Nai Peo had given him before he left the mountain. Pinliang found a first-level antidote and forced it into his mouth. After a while, his mouth finally returned to normal. He didn't know if it was the antidote or if Lin Yi's poison had been detoxified naturally. FF37, W03C9, 30FB. Off 4D. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.